There's no way. It's way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He fell Churchill!
Oh, and he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what? He gets out!
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Hello and welcome back to the Ori Randomizer 2021 tournament, now bringing you this upper semi-final best of 3 series between Cleanfel and jmal. Do not pay too much attention to those seed numbers. Both of these runners have put on an incredible performance throughout the entire tournament to get to this top 6 match. And I'm sure we'll see some incredible races today, because indeed we're going to be playing the entire series back to back today. My name is Xemsis and I'm joined by Covert Muffin for commentary on this first match today. Muffin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I am really looking forward to this best of 3 especially. I mean, Clean has just been such a really strong front runner, even in prelims, right? Taking the 2nd seed in the entire tournament. But jmal, right? Like showing their stuff pretty early on, being able to take down Tri-Knight, who's the #1 seed pretty early. So, I mean, Clean has the 2nd seed, but jmal has already taken down the 1st. So anything could absolutely happen in this race today. Here we are definitely seeing some stats. Clean is a veteran of the speedrunning community, not only in the randomizer itself, but jmal, I love this, right? Like, just he plays rando, right? And that is exactly how he got into speedrunning this game, and as we've seen so far in this tournament, has put on very strong performance.
Yes, indeed, jmal was actually not expecting to get this far at all. At the start, he knew just let the other person get randoed is not a reliable strategy, but he has been, even if that happens, you need to be playing well enough to capitalize on that, push out the seed while your opponent is looking for those skills, and why his bash hiding skills are legendary. That does not mean that his own actual execution is not on a high level as well. Meanwhile, we've been talking to our runners, Muffin. You've talked to Cleanfel, haven't you?
Yeah, Clean, besides having excellent lunchtime decisions, right? Like downing both water and Powerade in preparation for this. Just, man, Clean's just on top of his game with those clean water sort of strats that he's bringing to the RNG manipulation. But jokes aside, I mean, Clean's just a solid player all around, right? He understands his position here. He knows that his experience with the randomizer especially is maybe going to give him an edge here, and he's going to be approaching this in a best of 3, right? Even if he loses game 1, he's going to keep a cool head and really look to take the entire series.
Yes, and speaking about breakfast, jmal actually went for breakfast, Skip did get lunch instead of breakfast, including a nice coffee, so no clean water here. But otherwise, we know that jmal is kind of a veteran of those more crazy seeds, which have those a more interesting skill location, is expecting to get some stuff like that grenade in Horu, and then we're getting a grenade lock water vein and all that stuff. Actively looking forward to find a seed like this, as he has mentioned in the pre-run interview, but has also been just polishing up his normal gameplay over this last month, practicing more and more on those usual strat, and it looks like our runners are just about ready to go, riding up on the race here. So Muffin, what kind of seed do you hope to see for this first of our 3 matches today?
You know, we saw a great matchup between Sirius and Tri-Knight just before this race itself, and that one was really jet. So I'm hoping we take it in the opposite direction, have a nice, comfy, long seed to bring us into the series, right? Give our runners a chance to really explore Nibel. But here we go. Our runners are underway. Clean is going to be on the left. jmal is on the right with the trackers down below. here we're going to get our first look at the first pickup for the series today, and is indeed 43 experience. So here we're going to see what our runners end up doing. Yeah, both pausing. Excellent. Great knowledge of the runners to be able to know to just stop there, allow the explosion from the level up to destroy those brambles. They don't find anything else up here like stomp or grenade or something like that. It saves a number of seconds, which is quite significant for this early game start.
Yes, and obviously we're gonna see how they will adapt to their level up route in Blackroot later, with that XP count now being a bit higher than used to, but so far no keystones in the first 2 pickups. There are only 2 more pickups left to check, and I'm interested to see, are we just gonna get the classic 2 keystone opening, or is this rather looking forward to one of those skills into Blackroot kind of deals that we have seen quite a bit in this tournament?
Yeah, Zem, it's pretty wild, right? Like having that like collection of sign, right? The first minute and 16 seconds is kind of a staple to the randomizer, to have that downtime to sort of consider what elements you get at the very start, right? And without that, right, there's not much else downtime that's going to come into play for our runners for the rest of the seed. So here we go. We're going to see a climb start. So early Blackroot Burrows is going to be the first bit of progression unless we find a teleporter here, but I'm sure both runners will make that decision to go into Blackroot. But no, there's Grove teleporters them. Our runners could make Charge Flame the first tree they decide to go to.
Oh, that's actually super interesting to see. So we already have the Grove teleporter, so if Clean wanted to go to Grove right now, he kinda would need to take a teleporter refill just to be able to skip that cutscene, right? So let's see. No, he does not want to take the refill, will instead go into Blackroot Barrows first, doing the more classic opening, leveling Magnet on the save anywhere, which will level him up from all the slime XP in Blackroot. Jamal still has his energy, has the option to go, also takes the refill. Will he go into Blackroot or go to Grove? So far no divergence. I think we're gonna go see the safer play here, because after all, Blackroot isn't one of the easiest areas to speed up with additional skills, and we're gonna need to go here for that tree anyway.
Oh man, Clean with an unfortunate little level up timing there breaks the energy crystal. If he's not able to make it back to that energy crystal in time, he's not going to have the energy necessary. There, okay, he got the energy crystal. This is important for a skip that's going to be happening a little bit later on, but Clean on the left is going for the climb ramps, does not seem to have a good physics RNG on that left side wall. So if he knows the setup, oh no, he gets up. Nice slip up there to be able to get the first check. It is an ability cell. Zem, that's 2 ability cells. So this does increase the probability that we might actually end up finding Dash early on. But meanwhile, jmal on the right gets it first try. What a play there to just make use of that. Good RNG in order to be able to get up to that pickup, closing some of the distance that was sort of widening up from Clean's just excellent execution so far in this race.
Yes, that early game execution has been just as its name suggests, clean all around, obviously very experienced, and this is the kind of fundamental movement that you will be practicing no matter what kind of seed you play. But let's see, Clean probably, yes, will take the lantern first, saving some time. Let's hope the slime doesn't troll him too much of the position, but it is already going back, so can get that out of the way without stopping. One more check, there's the charge flame, so now we have Glades access through the Grove teleporter, will not be needing to open that first keystone door. On the one hand, that's obviously nice to get to save those 2 keystones, but on the other hand, our runners don't have a single keystone yet, and having access to that Grove TP into Glades route just makes it more and more likely that we're not gonna see any for quite a while at all.
Yeah, this is an excellent point, Zem, especially because the right side of the map is now open in logic, right? So really dilutes those important resources that the randomizer will just dump on the map the moment that you get access, right? So keystones are really important as a resource, and we do have a glitch in order to duplicate keystones, but there's really only one half decent location to be able to do a glitch known as a key duplication glitch on the right side. So depending on where those resources come up, it's going to be really critical for our runners and can cause actually a really big problem as we go in. But there we go. We got the check on the map stone that is gated by Dash. 245 experience them. So I doubt we'll actually end up finding Dash in a reasonable and nice location in the seed.
Yeah, those early ability sets making us hope for that airlash progression, but it's not going to happen. Also, Clean misjudging the platform cycles he tries. This will give jmal some more time to to catch up. Basically tied now, only about one more attempt on that platform cycle ahead now for Clean. Gets 8 experience, will not be keeping that, but jmal also missing the blind jump. So gap winding a bit, these kind of back and forths are what we expecting to see in this early game. And this is not in logic, obviously, with Climb needing the micro ledge at the bottom, but Clean opting to not skip the Indiana Jones boulder escape area here, will instead be getting all those nice no ledge checks that you can get down here. This particular thing, misses the micro ledge. There are a few setups, everyone kind of uses their own. You can see him standing on the wall, very nice, gets up here now, grabbing the energy crystal for a skip on the border cutscene. Just 9 XP here, so nothing learned so far. But oh, look at this on the right, that's some classic strats here.
Yeah, it looks like he was going for a Sea Flame burn in order to be able to check the plant, but was a little bit too far to the right to be able to make use of that. And after trying it once, ends up going back to a backup save they had to get those ability cells back, right? Because the 3 ability cells required to be able to get that larger area of effect from Charge Flame is quite expensive, especially if we are looking for something like Air Dash or even going up into the purple tree to start making way to sense. But both of our runners going to go for the boulder escape. This is really excellent play because A, they know that Dash is going to be gated pretty late game. They do find 9 experience right at the entrance, so maybe the next bit of skill progression will be some form of verticality, but Clean making the play, yeah, nice. Going to Grove immediately. We'll see how this ends up panning out. And I wasn't sure if he was facing to the left or the right there on the waypoint. That is important. Was facing to the right, okay. So if you teleport facing to the left, you will actually force a cutscene and end up losing a minute to skipping the cutscene using a save anywhere glitch. But Clean, excellent execution, is able to be able to get out of that waypoint before the cutscene triggers.
Yeah, and also Clean being very heads up there on the reload, taking that teleporter while you don't actually have watched the cutscene will make Sign get stuck in the teleporter, so you need to reload your game to unstuck him. And Clean realizing that, reloading, so he has his charge flame back, now able to skip this teleporter. Meanwhile, jmal opting to keep the keystone, but might have forgotten about the Grove teleporter for a moment there. Now does have that advantage of having a keystone, but yeah, opening the map, let's just hope that jmal remembers that he found that Grove TP on the 4th pickup soon while Cleanfel is cleaning up that area.
Yeah, you know, this is a really tough aspect of running Randomizer in particular. It's just remembering what you can and what you can't do and what you found. And this is why going to Blackroot Burrows poses a risk for our runners, just simply because you can just simply forget that you actually ended up getting Grove TP. And this is not a normal path, by the way. Like, this is a real treat for us casters to see this actually coming into fruition, just simply because, as Zen was like alluding to, you usually just find 2 keystones right at the start, and that opens the 2 key door to get access to this area that we see Clean in now. So jmal is going to be following close behind, but Clean taking a little bit of a lead heading into Glades. So eyes on the left for the next bunch of pickups.
Yes, indeed, and just to reiterate a bit on that interesting opening, Keystone Logic isn't fully activated until the 2nd Keystone gets randomly or forcibly placed, so we can have some extremely interesting openings here and interesting mid-games. That's all I'm going to go into depth for that one. So far, Cleanfel having a map stone here to turn it in, which makes this just so much more nicer. We don't want to backtrack in our randomizer runs at all if possible, but it's just been a lot of experience and some ability cells. Only 1 additional energy cell so far, which does going for the baby Iceless. Let's see if he can get that. Yes, that is still saving time on that attempt. Very nice. Gets to skip pushing the rock here, can now make his way through the Glades loop. Up we go. And we already have 2 energy now. This mega energy, which I would assume Clean will be putting into the Death Gauntlet door at some point. But there it is. jmal did not manage to hide Bash from Clean this seed. It is right there in the loop. The seed just opened up quite a bit.
Yeah, I can't think of a better pickup for Clean to find this early in a seed like this, right, against his opponent. He knows that he has the executional and sort of the routing advantage over his opponent if he just sticks to his guts and pushes for the objectives, right? And so finding Bash, the most powerful skill in the entire randomizer, right? He now can get access to every single skill tree except for one, right? Which is going to be that Ginso tree. That has the tree that normally gets you bashed to begin with. And it's all just simply because of not having Water Vein, as well as not being able to get through that second room itself. So we still need to find some form of verticality in order to finish out the seed. But Clean I love this play from Clean. He knows that he may have an advantage early game to his execution, and so he is leaving no stone unturned. He's literally going to be just baiting this one Frankie all the way over to the right in order to check a single pickup, right? And here it is, right? And this pickup is in logic. So if this is going to be indeed the thing that has like something like charge jump or some other verticality, it does not today. It has an energy regen on it, which tells us nothing, but that is an informational advantage for him, knowing that Clean could not find something amazing there like Dash to take an advantage over him.
Yeah, and with this Clean now heading into Grotto, we've already seen that the Sunstone is in the Grotto area, so I'm sure he will be very extremely throughout the entire area. What I'm interested to see is once Jamal heads up to his wall jump tree, if he wants to go for the same kind of play where you take the Mega Energy immediately into Grotto, Grotto obviously being the most dense area of the game, or if he will take that bash and search for the progression on the left side, climb Sea Flame, having this incredibly interesting feature where you can't quite make it to the lever to pull the platform down in standard logic. So the expected pickups our runners could get for their intended progression is actually still very small. But so far, Clean pushing in the direction of objectives here. Objectives, the name of the game. Sunstone being in Grotto as mentioned before, and then there also being 2 trees in the area. And we haven't talked about it, but we do need those 10 trees to finish the game. So I would not be surprised to see Clean be quite heavy on that push.
Yeah, this is really important, right? Clean actually finding his second keystone. Every single skill tree on the right side of the map requires keystones, right? And quite a few of them, right, on the right side itself. So having that 2 keystones is going to allow him to go for specific trees, okay? So unfortunately though for Clean, he only has a max health of 3, making this section in particular very dangerous. And yeah, I like this play from Clean, just trying to do some stuff over there, but is just going to opt out and not end up going for it. Discards the Spider Shot, finds an ability cell over there in the double jump gated pickup, so no real hint or indication that double jump is going to be somewhere nice on the map itself. So Clean starting a save anywhere is going to end up heading down, and jmal on the right is pretty much following in Clean's footsteps, coming over, checking the Frankie Ore pickup in Frankie Walk, and then is going to be heading immediately into Death Gauntlet.
Yes, kinda similar, if but not identical routing here between our 2 runners so far. Clean, remembering to refill to get that glide vault open. Very nice. Now skipping the bridge cutscene, gets enough of a boost. Oh, that was basically perfect on the height to just get the small hop across the bridge. Loving to see this. Now can basically with bash, it depends on how much time he wants to use on double bashing those spider shots around, but he can in theory basically clear out the entire area with his bash.
Yeah, it's very true. And so, like, now as we head into sort of this mid-game portion, things are going to slow down a lot because we have a lot more pickups on the map that are actually in logic. So as Clean and jmal head into Grotto itself, they may really not find much of anything. As Zen was sort of alluding to, there are pickups that are pretty sparse that are in logic currently. However, that being said, they are pretty spread out. So it could be a while before our runners end up finding anything. Clean, finding an energy cell and a health cell on the pillars, and he's going to be double bashing the spider shot on the left. Nice execution, does not get quite high enough, is going to be angling the shot still to keep it alive. Nicely done in checking these verticality pickups, which are indeed out of logic, but does maybe potentially get him some nice information in the meanwhile.
Yeah, also remember that the Sunstone is
Right.
somewhere
Thank
in
you.
Grotto, so we're gonna get all these checks in here from Clean. Oh, going to the left area here. Let's see if he's just here for the plant and maybe a double bash chain with the spider shot. No, not even that. Just with the plant will now damage boost here on those 2 damage spikes. Gets the climb off just before invulnerability wears off. Very nice. Are we gonna see a save drop or rock slide? No, has a save prepared to save scum the area. Does not need to go through the slow, kind of auto-scrollish Crusher section again. Very nice. And now with this, we're heading into right side grotto on the left side, where we're heading into left side grotto on the right side.
Yeah, indeed. A nice inversion effect there. Clean is going to be coming down into this map zone. We're going to see if he continues with this tradition sort of being really thorough against this opponent in the first match. And yeah, indeed he does. I really like this decision from Clean to come to the mini boss. It has been like sort of a development in the meta to just like always skip this mini boss early. But it really doesn't take too long, especially with the skill set that Clean has. So going to be just making sure that he does not get randoed versus his opponent here and be able to clear it out. But oh yeah, unfortunately just not quite chunking the boss down in time. Has to take an extra couple of cycles in order to be able to take down the boss, but no problem. Meanwhile, jmal on the right did opt to actually end up doing a save drop by the looks of it, or maybe not. He did just bring the platform down normally. So he has to go and pull the lever to be able to clear the lasers and get out.
Yeah, but have you seen what was on there? That was a massive amount of stuff in that grotto vault, finding both Glide as well as the Fall-On Teleporter in the energy vault that Clean skipped. It's not a Sunstone, but that Rock Slide really paying dividends here. Can also now do more checks without save scamming if he wants to, having that Glide relevant, and just makes the cycle too nice, very nice. Remind that is of course out of logic. You are not expected to rock slide. You're expected to have 4 energy to access that, but still having the skills will not having the skills out of logic will not stop our runners from utilizing them to push this advantage and get more checks on the way.
Yeah, Glide is one of those skills that oftentimes gets overlooked, especially in the randomizer itself, because we can end up finding something like Sorrow Teleporter and having like Charge Jump and Stomp gets us easy access to that tree. But Glide is making Sorrow Pass a much more accessible area, especially if something is going to be buried in there, like our Water Vein potentially. Meanwhile, on the left, Clean is going to be the first one to actually make it over to Double Jump Tree. We'll see what is over here. So many ability cells also early. My goodness, another one, right? Zem, like, this is just so insane how many ability cells the seed has been giving our runners, and especially in the hands of somebody like Cleanfel, this is going to be a really, really big, massive advantage for them, because it makes the late game areas that are inaccessible, like Sorrow without Glide, much more approachable with that capability of doing zombie Oris.
Yeah, with this amount of ability sets, we might even see full Dorito zombies on skill sets like this, which is insanely interesting. I just wanna emphasize one manipulation Jamal has been doing, using that very recently found backup take where he reloads his game and then rekindled saves.
Oh, wow.
Forcing the game to create backups in places where he wants it to save scum stuff like this grotto mini boss through an autosave. Really doing his homework and showing that he's willing to learn, willing to pull off these nice threads. But yeah, Clean now heading back into the left side, and I think Clean is now, instead of pushing for more trees, we have the grenade tree and the storm tree kinda accessible. He's now gonna be hunting down logic to actually get a bit more of the intended progression of the seed.
Yeah, this kind of surprises me from Clean, actually, just like being incredibly thorough here instead of just pushing for the next objective. Maybe just wanting to make sure that he didn't necessarily leave like a stone unturned from his opponent, right? So is going to be coming back to this Glades area, which he's already done a really thorough job of clearing out, and then is going to be bringing Frankies over to check this roof pickup, which is actually in logic, just bashing off of Frankie there and climbing up the wall. And wow, well, I take everything back. Very nice find from Clean, finding double jump, right? If he missed air retention from finding that glide pickup, well, he just got back that much and more from tracking down double jump. That is a big find, Zem.
Yes, indeed. Very nicely done, puzzling together that opening logic that we had. But now, with double jump finally in our possession, all of this right side is accessible through the lever path, the upper path there through Spider Sack. So I would not expect our runners to do any further logic reading in the near future. Instead, going to push for these objectives. We have the Sunstone up in Grotto and we have all the trees. And let's see, yes indeed, the Sunstone is right here below the Grotto teleport. I think that double jump, getting into this area without double jump or glide is kinda a disaster. You can see it on the right side now, Jamal utilizing the glide he found instead of the double jump to get up here, but takes a death. Will he retry that or will he give it up? Looks like he's going back, so probably will find his Sunstone if he can just make it over to the spider. Let's see what happens there, while Clean is kinda making ground in the rough direction. I would assume he's now going to Storm Tree and push more of those trees.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Meanwhile, Clean on the left is not going to be using the lower entry because he struggled getting past those 3 damage spikes, which were one-shot kills. But instead is going to be opting for the upper swamp loop. I also like this in a play versus an opponent that he's facing like jmal, right? As jmal on the right finds that Sunstone pickup accidentally takes a death, so is going to have to contemplate whether or not he's going to go back for that now. Yeah, indeed decides to. I like that from jmal. But on the left, Clean and upper swamp loop is great because it gets him a really nice bit of density as he is going to be progressing towards the next skill location. This just like sort of guarantees for Clean that he is not going to be missing out on something amazing that jmal could find, like another power skill or really potent skill like charge jump or dash maybe if jmal find it. And Clean finding Stomp for his troubles is going to be really nice. That is going to save him potentially over a minute. But Zem, this also means that left side of the map is actually open, right? So like, where's the next thing, right? Where's the next skill? Or is this all our runners are going to end up finding to finish out the rest of the seed?
Oh, look at this nice skill set. Let's send them to Horror. I think R1 is the right place for our next progression. But jokes aside, I think, yeah, with this skill set, we are basically almost guaranteed to see Clean be pushing for either just trees and 1 or 2 more accessible teleporters on the map. As the one thing really stopping him from finishing out the seed is that it's honestly the water rain, and that can be in a lot of places, basically anywhere on the map, or doing the more classic setup for the swamp entry here, trick found in Randomizer and using it in its purest form. Very nice. Now gets into inner swamp, mapstone from mapstone. So if it turns out to be mapstone progression, at least we're making progress on that, but nothing immediately useful here on the left side for Clean. Now heading up to the Storm Tree, and jmal also does not seem to want to leave things behind, so I would assume he's gonna get the Storm very soon too.
Wow, and Clean finding charge jump in the water there. That is actually a massive find. It's going to make certain areas a lot more accessible and easy to get to later on, especially Sorrow Pass not having to do a really tricky double bash chain to be able to open up the ceiling in order to get access to the tree. And so Clean not having glide as well is just going to be a really spooky thing, but finding that charge jump is going to be really, really nice in order to be able to get to the charge jump skill tree itself, which is in Sorrow. And with charge jump now having that verticality asset to be able to get through damage spikes as well, to get access to areas that were maybe not previously easy to get through.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Muffin, but I would take the double jump over glide any moment once I have a skill set like this. Having dash, climb, charge jump, that double jump just makes all of them so much better. Getting extra air control, air retention, pretty sure Clean is gonna show just why that is so useful any moment now. But for now, Clean dropping back, turning in its map stones, and can now take a quick route into grenade tree if he wishes to do so. Yes, indeed. Both Stomp and Climb Charge Jump kinda alleviate the necessity of doing a very slow Fronky lure, so it's not gonna get much quicker than it is right now. Also, Clean really wants to spend those ability points, head towards Triple Jump, maybe even Ultra Defense soon, and that is required here. Or gets trolled by the jump input closing his ability menu. That's just a thing that can happen after turning in a map stone, and it's always pretty funny to see. But with this, we're just gonna get 3 pushes on both sides. Clean currently about a 1-3 lead, I would say here, as we're and I would say about to close out our mid game of the seed here.
Yeah, this is pretty wild from Clean. He's still being thorough, but not to a fault, right? Like, he is absolutely covering his bases just in case Jamal would end up finding something like Grenade, right, for grenade jumps, especially for the final escape. But then also maybe something like Dash could be an obscure location, right? Like, we found Charge Jump, which was gated by Clean Water, and we have no idea where Clean Water is on the map. But we also do know that Dash is going to be coming into the late game area. So it'll be interesting if Clean actually ends up opting to continue checking things to such a high degree, right? And this has sort of 2 side effects, right? It allows jmal to stay within striking distance, because jmal is just either able to flip a switch and just start pushing for trees, or catch up to his opponent maybe by finding something. But this also guarantees that, like, jmal's not going to find something that Clean doesn't, right? If he ends up continuing to dig this thoroughly. So Clean definitely, probably if we saw that Clean felt like he was behind at any point, he may just like sort of pull a 180 and end up flipping around. But note, on tree 6, indeed, we do have the final clue of the seed, Zem. It is indeed going to be that the water vein is going to be buried somewhere within Sorrow Pass.
Oh, that is probably the best possible option for Jamal here. Having Glide makes the entirety of Sorrow Pass so much easier, and if it starts to become really horrible, that water vein could be all the way at top with the Sunstone, and that's where the Glide would really shine, both in having a safer access and faster access. But another thing I want to pay attention to here is we are 30 minutes into the seed and Clean just found his first health cell on the grenade tree here. As generous as the seed has been on the kill front, we are really missing resources to finish it out, because without ultra defense and no clean water, we won't be seeing a 4 or 5 HP swim here.
It's a really good point, Zem, and I think like something else that's like really critical to bring up is like how good our runner's memory is, right? Like, if they are able to remember maybe pickups that they ended up skipping later on for those additional big EXP numbers, or maybe for an additional health cell or 2 to be able to get through that final escape, right? With Bash and with Stomp, they only need to take 4 to 5 HP of damage as they're going through the swim, but I don't know that our runners are necessarily going to want to do that. And indeed, Clean coming into this late game section is still going to be checking additional pickups. This is really great also because there is that 4 key doors them in Sorrow that we need to get to, right? After really digging thoroughly to find the bare minimum keystones to be able to get access to the right side trees, right? We still have 2 more 4 key doors to be able to get through, and Clean only has 3 keystones on them. So will be interesting to see how Clean manages his resources as he comes through this late game section.
Yeah, he does not have the fall on TP for that cube, but I would probably expect a lower Sorrow key cube, or maybe even a Dorito Caverns key cube. We will get to that once we are there. That keystones count definitely still mattering for the rest of the seed. And I just want to also mention Jamal is rushing up that purple tree all the way to SLE now, so he has basically no chance of getting ultra defense within the seed, which means he's kind of hard required to find 1 or 2 more health sets here to finish out the seed. Now let's see what our runners are up to. Clean going all the way through 5 grenades on the Wilhelm XP Muffin. 3 out of 3. Here we go. Alright, I take it back. That glide doesn't matter all that much anymore. We can get all the way up because we just unlock grenade jumps.
This is just so clutch for Clean. I mean, finding double jumping Glades on that revisit, right? Having that logic read to be able to get access and go back to find that double jump, and then Clean on his search for Water Vein finds that grenade pickup. It cannot be understated how massive this is for the state of the race, especially for Clean, right? Having grenade jumps allows us to build not only a lot of horizontal speed and save that 40 seconds in the final escape, but also allows us to build a lot of verticality. So Clean doing the first grenade jump to be able to get over to this perch in order to check it, finds a keystone, right? Just, oh man, everything's just laying out exactly how Clean needs it as he is progressing into this late game, Zem. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, those pickups coming in clutch. There's one saving light here for Jamal, because those two pickups were in Sorrow, and we have the Water Vein Sorrow clue. So as long as Jamal remembers this is not Valley, this is Sorrow, he is gonna get that grenade jump too. But still, Clean has that tree advantage, being just a bit faster on that tree cleanup and going towards them in general instead of digging more, which means he does have a bit of a time advantage over Jamal here. Let's see how much Sorrow will matter. So far, Clean is opting to head into Misty, and I really like that. I mean, Glide could be here for all Clean knows, right? Or anything else like the Sorrow teleporter, maybe even on the forced path.
Oh, so, Clean just got a weave. I'm sorry, that's really precise. That's very difficult, and Clean just nailed that first try. It's just so beautiful. I can't help but squeal when I see it.
Yeah, Clean's movement is just amazing. He also getting that amazing Patera jump over all the frogs, not bumping into any of them. And let's see if he can get the same on the radar. Bonks on the wall, but still gets through half of this. It's always nice to see this kind of execution as we are in the late game points of the game. Oh, takes the to the spikes, but luckily he does have a well-placed safety save just in front of this section. Obviously, him not having Glide in the section called Glide Tutorial does matter a bit, but after taking just one death, he realized, hey, I have my ability sets, I can just zombie this if necessary, but now sees, alright, I don't need this anymore. It threw, barely misses the reef, but can just try again, as jmal also gets this grenade jump.
Yeah, so this is actually a really important sort of state of the race as well, right? Oh man, all the keystones were in Misty. Holy crap. That's so nice for Clean, just picking up all those keystone pickups. But meanwhile, I mean, on the right, jmal is going to be making that decision to go immediately into Sorrow to start digging through that area. But this worked out really well for Clean, right? Clean did not actually end up having any ability cells when he entered Misty, and so was hoping to find some additional resources, maybe Ultra Defense, maybe a health cell, but like instead just ends up finding a bunch of keystones for his troubles. So Clean definitely going to be heading into Sorrow now, but still doesn't have exactly what he needs to be able to do the final escape to finish out the seed. But we do know that the EXP amounts are going to be pretty high as our runners are heading into Sorrow. So I imagine it's going to be very, very doable for Clean to be able to finish out that Ultra Defense.
Yeah, so now I'm interested to see what route our runners are gonna take to the Sorrow. And it looks like Jamal is taking the more aggressive one, going to the tree, saying, let's see if Water Vein is on the path. If so, he's gonna be saving a massive amount of time compared to a more through dig. But so far, it's not been here. I mean, I wouldn't be too surprised if Clean maybe decides to go do the digging first, just to get all the way to that Ultra Defense, which will help a lot once we actually enter this Dorito Caverns area. You can see on the right side of your screen in this very moment. But also just because we still need to have, kind of want to have so at least, and checking things is the one way to get that, and we do need to clear out Sorrow of all areas for those sets anyway.
Yeah, and this is the really scary part for Clean, is now not having any ability cells and only being on 4 HP is not going to be able to get access to Charge Jump Tree quite yet. And that's just simply because Clean doesn't have Glide, right? He didn't go down to the Grotto Vault all the way in order to be able to get access to that skill that we saw jmal pick up pretty early in the seed. So jmal is just going to be key duping in order to get some additional keystones on the right before heading over to that tree itself. And so if jmal actually finds Water Vein right here, right now, this could be just absolutely massive for them. But no, finds a keystone on the tree, and so the search for the Water Vein is going to continue.
Yes, now interested to see, are we gonna go? Is he just saying, alright, what would be the most horrible location for the water vein, and will head straight to Sunstone? If so, he is gonna take a long time because the water vein is in lower left. Thorough clean, finding it in huge. Now he still does have a bit of that advantage by already having done the entirety of Misty. So Jamal is gonna need to head down very soon to make up on that time. So now Clean heading over, starting to skip more pickups with Ultra Defense. He can make the Poison Swim, so he's no longer bound to finding that extra health cell and can just go straight through this laser. Nicely done with Triple Jump. It is time for my favorite thing. We are gonna go get the Tumbleweed, or are we gonna get the just gonna see zombies? No, we are gonna see a Tumbleweed. Off we go. Getting the frog out of the way, I hope, because otherwise that frog might just do some magic to make the Tumbleweed disappear, but the frog is gone, and with this Clean is gonna set up for a very difficult series of double bashes.
Yeah, this is really important for Clean. If Clean actually is able to nail his execution here, this will put him just like in a very masterful position to just absolutely close out the rest of the seed, right? We only need 2 more trees, and one of them is up here. So Clean on the left is going to start double bashing this Tumbleweed up. Coming through this next area, all of the spikes up here deal massive amounts of damage, and unfortunately loses this Tumbleweed, but that's totally fine. He has Grenade Bash, he has Charge Jump, so he's going to be able to get back up to the Tumbleweed, which just carried back up to the ceiling. So Clean now does not want to taste any of these tasty spikes, because if they do, they will spell certain death for our fair runner. But nicely done, measuring his distances in an expert fashion, gets around the final bend and just has to get through this last tiny little hallway. Beautiful double jump to be able to just barely dodge out of it, and Clean is going to be able to make it to Charge Jump Tree and make his way over to Ginso to activate his final skill location before heading over to the final escape, Zem.
Yes, and with this, Clean now has a clean 1-3 plus water vein lead, having done Misty while Jamal is not. Jamal finding his 5th health, so he's good on health even without that Ultra Defense, which is nice, but Clean, already having gone to Misty, does have the 3 advantage, and that's why going to trees is so important. Now just needs to head over to Ginso. Already has prepared all the keystones he needs. He just needs to get to the tree and can then finish out the final escape. And with having this kind of skill set, grenade jumps, bash, double jump, I don't think that will be any problem for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this has just been such a really nice seed for Clean, especially, right? Did all of the additional thorough digging, maybe a little bit sparse on resources, but I really think that's more working in Clean's favor than anything else, right? Because he just knows that he does have to be additional thorough. Finds a health cell on his 6th mapstone turn-in. Oh my goodness. This seed has just been absolutely mean to our runners so far, but Clean really nicely done just being extra thorough to make sure that they didn't get randoed versus their opponent here, as jmal finds that water vein over on the right and is going to be heading out of Sorrow now down to Misty. But like not losing any traction versus jmal by making sure to be extra thorough, but also just keeping a slight lead throughout the entire seed, Zem, and jmal not being able to like capitalize on that sort of advantage to find something that's really, really powerful that'll put them in a skill advantage versus their opponent.
Yeah, that going for the more unconventional route in Sorrow on the water vein dig could have paid off huge, but in this case it didn't. Probability play won out with water vein being in the more dense bottom left area, and with this we're just seeing now Clean have that entire 1-3 lead and heading up into the Ginso tree. Just needs to get up here, does have Ultra Defense, HP is no longer a problem since a while. Has all the dash upgrades. If only he had dash 2, I'm sure he would be very happy right now, but with this we just still checking things on the way here. Alright, really, I think he does know he has the execution advantage and will just make sure there isn't a dash just here in Ginso. We did see those gigantic XP numbers after all on the way to the tree, and just has to get there, go to Horu and close off the seed.
Yeah, this is definitely Clean's race to lose at this point. And that being said, folks, this is not the only race that we'll see between our 2 runners. immediately after this, we will actually see 2 more games being played by our runners. Both of them have agreed to actually play out the full set of the best of 3. So don't go anywhere, especially after this race is over, because we will be bringing you more of that race content. But meanwhile, Clean is now opting to end up skipping additional pickups. This is great. But probably, honestly, is them just hoping they find another health cell. Right? Like, I mean, 5 health and ultra defense is definitely plenty to be able to make it through the final escape, but it's not easy, man. It's definitely not easy. And look at that, 104 pickups for Clean in a seat that was like very much this tapered, and finds Valley Teleporter in that Ginso tree. Not going to be too useful for our runners, but also, honestly, Zem, like if there was one thing that could have actually bitten Clean in the behind, it was finding like a left side teleporter in a nice location. So finding a left side teleporter in a really mean location just must be doing great for Clean's nerves here.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of nerves, the probably hardest section of the seat is now coming up. Oh, beautiful grenade jump. Also remembers he cannot take the bottom route since he did the classic speedrun Kuro cutscene skip earlier, which means that cutscene still being there. But sets up for another grenade jump. Very nice. Alright, come on, give us a third one. Nope, not quite yet, but I'm sure we're gonna see one more just about here once we enter Horror Fields. Let's see which one of them are we gonna see. Are we gonna see the upper or the lower one here? Having a bit of a problem hitting the correct place on the wall, and the elemental trolling doesn't help. Misses the timing press. As a reminder, that is a 1-frame trick every single time they do that. Grenade frame 1, jump frame 2. And if they miss it, they will just stay in place or badly float to the ground. So props for Clean, getting another one, and there's just one more decision for him to be made. Door warp or violence? I would expect a door warp, yeah?
Yeah, I imagine Clean being a veteran to the randomizer as well as speedrunning many categories in Ori and the Blind Forest, definitely going to go for the door warp here. So here on the left, Clean is going to quit out back to the menu after the game saves for him, and is going to try and press up on the first frame. No problem, nails it first try. Excellent job from Clean. Going to be warping immediately to the end of the dungeon itself, and is going to be starting the final escape. Meanwhile, Jmal, having finished Missy, is going to be coming into Ginso, still a number of minutes behind his opponent, so Clean just has a lot of breathing room as they're going to be coming into the final escape, Zem.
Indeed, and into the final escape we go. Let's see, we're getting another half cell, 6 health ultra defense. That's the best gift Kuro could have had for our runners. Off we go into the meteor room. Cannot afford to take 1 damage here, but doesn't even need to into the lantern room. Are we gonna see a G-jump or the classic strat? Classic strat it is. 3 benches and off we go. Elemental room will not be too much of a problem having that bash and double jump. Can just catch the shots and off we go into the S room. This is the last really important part. Not allowed to take damage from the fire here. Oh, there is it, but that's just thanks to Kuro's health. If the fish are in the correct position, yes, he will make it out alive. Thank you, Kuro, for giving us that health cell, and up we go. Grenade jump into the room. Just now needs to make sure that his last bash has been to the left, and it doesn't really get more left than that. Setting up for the final grenade jump, and easy Clean Ori walking, taking game 1 in the set.
Yeah, excellent job from Clean. I mean, this was exactly sort of the type of seed that he was hoping to get, right? Like early power skill, early bash means that Jmal is not going to be able to find it in some obtuse location to be able to take that from him, right? And bash was really sort of the cornerstone of the entire seed, right? Ended up finding Stomp on the right side of the map. Charge jump was gated by Clean Water that we actually never ended up tracking down. And then like grenade jumps and bash just ended up being the super important tech. So on the left, Clean is just going to be walking for an additional 10 seconds. We're going to see if he does any Naru optimizations. Going to opt to instead go for the Naru power slide, and power slides to the end with an official race time of a 43:46, taking the first win in this best of 3 series that we are all going to be casting succinctly in a row here today on Speed Gaming 3.
Yeah, don't go anywhere once Jamal is finishing that up and we give our runners about 10 more minutes to calm down. We are gonna see 2 more of this kind of quality of matches. And honestly, this has been a great match. You're seeing as Clean is finishing up Haru, Jamal is already on his way to the dungeon too. So no huge gaps between our runners here either. Just really a nice clean seed with a good kind of skill set. A very interesting opening today, one that you're probably not gonna see another time in this tournament very soon. And just good execution here, getting those objectives done. And
Yeah,
all the
nicely
way
done.
for Haru.
Yep. Meanwhile, jmal on the right is going to be heading to Horu. Nice grenade jumps to be able to get through Horu Fields. Is now going to be opening the door and going to decide whether they are going to do that violence or the door warp itself. And so we will see here. And a really nice thing also for the seed is like we didn't really have to do any sort of excess digging out of the way to be able to find anything important, right? If Clean had gone for his sort of patented high seed sort of like advantage and just decided to rush the seed, he still would have found everything he ended up needing in order to be able to close out. On the right though, jmal going to be coming over for the validation pickup. All runners and all runs are indeed validated, but jmal just getting in a little extra sort of patent verification and validation for their seed itself. And now is going to be heading towards the final escape to see how they do themselves in this final trial before finishing out the seed.
Yeah, big difference. Honestly, just exchanging that double jump for glide, giving them more air stall but less mobility, and it's gonna be really happy seeing this Tafsel right here, the 6th Tafsel on Kuro right now. Yep, there is the happy mouse movement. As he now has quite a bit of a buffer for his own, trying to set up for the grenade jump, but instead opting to go for the normal walking way. You do not need any speed up here because the original base game did not have any either. Waiting now on the lava cycle, will now be bashing, not quite bashing straight up, but having climbed shelter, alleviates this situation now into the elemental. Oh, and yet just planted down by Kuro. Oh, I haven't seen that one in a while.
Yeah, it's really mean. So you're not only on sort of like a timed life with getting past Kuro, but there are certain triggers within the final escape to actually activate a walking fire trail to follow our runners as they go through. And so jmal just being slightly behind that is going to have to finish out, but is going to actually mess the grenade jump up. They get one more opportunity before Kuro swoops down. Does not quite get it, so they just have to go back to the start and try the final escape again. This is very difficult, folks. We are not understating that.
And I think Jamal is opting to go for the less consistent setup here on purpose, since he pretty much already knows Cleanfel has finished. So just showing off here at the end, and who can blame him for some good light-hearted fun here at the end. Now back into the elemental room, and there is no fire to annoy him this time. Will he set up for the G-jump? No, also taking the more classic bash glide route here, and there will probably be not going to be a fire hit here since he does have glide to break the fall. Let's see how the fish are cooperating here. The bottom fish being in a bit of an awkward spot, but having that extra health from Kuro, thank you Kuro again, really makes this not a problem. And let's see, yep, that bash was to the left, if only slightly. Just needs to set up for his final grenade jump here. Let's see, doesn't get it on the second try, but this thing saved. How much time is it, Muffin? Like 40 seconds? That's certainly a thing you are going to retry a few times.
Yeah, I think last time I heard it timed was like 38 seconds or something like that on the dot, but like it's definitely up there with a high second amount. So jmal on the left is going to be nailing the grenade jump. That still saved time. That still saved a very significant time, even though it took a number of attempts. But really nicely done from jmal. Taking a loss here in this first game, but you know what? Like, played a nice steady seed and was able to walk through. And I actually like this, right? Like, even maybe seeing Cleanfel had already donned in the seed, right? Knowing that he took a loss here, but opting to just take the final minutes to be able to close out the seed. This is a very smart play, and I think to just be able to sort of like calm and level themselves to head into the next game of the series. But Zem, a question for you, right? Taking a loss here for jmal, do you try and maybe switch up sort of your tactic versus Clean, or do you just kind of try and continue to play your own rando to net a win in the series?
Oh, I think Jamal actually played this one really well. I would be surprised if he changed up his tactic too much after that one. Might go for some more of those risky reads we've seen in some of the prelims and earlier stages, where you go for a somewhat more risky out of logic play to kind of force this randomizer situation where your skill is
Right.
going to be in one of two areas. But
Yeah.
I think it is totally fine to just play another one of these, take one big breath, calm down again, and just bring your A game to another one of these. Because even though the timer said 5 minutes, I don't think it just race felt like a 5 minute difference at all.
No, I don't think so. You know, like JML's staying close, right? Within like half a tree, if we can even sort of divide it up in that for like the majority of the seed. It was really once Clean decided to go left that he sort of took a really solid advantage. And so I think also like Clean, where it's worth, right? Continuing to be thorough until maybe he loses a match to that to go back to sort of a standard play. Like definitely making a meta play to go out of his way to be able to check a lot of additional pickups in order to just make sure that Jmal does not take that big advantage that they are hoping to find from finding another really important power skill like Dash or maybe Bash in the next seed. But I think so. Cleanfel definitely in his stride, and if he just keeps doing what he's doing, I believe we're going to have an excellent game 2, Zem.
Yes, indeed. And we already had a very interesting opening in this one, and then afterwards, one of those classic fun and fast skill sets, getting those grenade jumps with the bash grenade. What do you think, Muffin, would be a nice, different type of seed that could showcase what our runners are capable of here in contrast?
I think this was a really fascinating start, but maybe something that's like slowed down a lot more to get our runners a little bit more tired in the brain, right? Like give us wall jump and charge flame early, and then put something like at grotto tree, right? And give us nothing else to be able to get to the right side of the map to really scare our runners. I think the best case scenario for Jmal is grotto revisits. Honestly, if we maybe don't have blue breakage, right? Maybe we do get that right side teleported with swamp TP or something, and they have to do some weird obtuse like grotto revisit to find the important power skill to get access to the left side of the map. But that being said, folks, Clean going to be going up one game here over their opponent. Clean, if they do end up winning the next game, they will actually win this series 2-0, but we will be playing out all 3 games here in a row over here on SpeedGaming 3. And that being said, folks, my screen was Covert Muffin. Joined with me on comms was Zemsis. Major thanks to 2Kill and Infinite for help on the stats and Apple Tree for restreaming. But that being said, the next game is going to be coming up. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be here on SpeedGaming 3 in just around 10 minutes. So we will see you then, folks, for some more exciting tournament action.
Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest 2021 Randomizer Tournament. Cleanfel versus jmal, Clean rank 2, jmal rank 30. Don't pay too much attention to those, however. As we just saw in our first race, we had Cleanfel taking the win off of jmal to get a 1-0 lead in this best of 3 series, but only by about 5 minutes. In part, I think, Turtle, because Cleanfel was a little bit thorough, but also jmal having that little bit of an extra glide advantage. What do you expect out of the second race here between these two runners?
Yeah, we've talked in the past couple days a lot about the strategy of best of threes, and Clean, having won a game, can now have a little safety cushion under him, where he knows that even if he loses this game, there's still another one to play, so he can play, if he wants to, a lot more aggressively, just really trying to rush. Meanwhile, jmal needs to make sure he does everything possible to keep himself in this seed, and probably so going on his end to be more thorough, just making sure he can find bash, dash, charge jump, wherever they may be hidden, so he can get all the power skills he needs that Clean may or may not miss on his side.
Yeah, and to that point, Cleanfel actually was pretty on spot with his routing. Afterwards, got word from jmal that Glide was in Lower Grotto Vault, and that is where Clean did anticipate it to be, and possibly either Grove Main or in Lower Grotto, and Lower Grotto indeed it was. So Clean with a very good read on the seed logic, knew what he missed, and also didn't particularly care about it, given that he was able to find double jump and charge jump, etc., etc. But just being able to know that you have missed something that early is definitely a skill. Being able to read the logic and understand what you were doing with your sequence breaks. Did have a little bit of spaghetti in the early going, as did jmal, Turtle. But on jmal's end, he knows that he's kind of the dark horse here in this race against Cleanfel, the veteran of the randomizer. But just, he didn't put the watermelon reaction on the seed race route. So, that's clearly why he lost.
Yep, if you don't please seed gen before the race, seed gen will make you lose, and that is just a fact. So jmal is now doing as best as he can to make those sacrifices, hide bash, and make sure he gets the best seed possible for this next race, which is starting in about 1 minute from now.
Yeah, either that, or maybe he went over to Clean's place and stole the water, so that Clean fell somewhere in the seed. We'll have to see how that plays out. Again, we are playing all 3 matches of this, so regardless of whether or not Clean wins Game 2 here, we will be playing a third one after this. 2Kill will be joining me on comms for that. We'll also be on SpeedGaming 3. Tomorrow we have the last match at a best of 3 between Evo and Dedu. Wednesday, Sirius versus Trite Knight. And the entire series of Zemsys versus Guard, which is going to be the 2 runners that will face the winner of this match. That'll going to be happening on Thursday, kicking that off at about 1 o'clock Eastern. Runners are underway here. Cleanfel is going to be on the left side of your screen, jmal on the right side. And I have to ask, Turtle, what is the progression going to be here in the early going?
It's going to be whatever we didn't find last game, so Forlorn TP into wall jump into dash, basically.
Nice. I like it. Well, a Mapstone is a pretty interesting start. Could get a Forlorn TP into a forced Mapstone turn in. We'll have to see how that ends up playing out. The energy cell here, of course, not randomized for the time being in the round, because it turns out not being able to save your game is pretty monka-s indeed. Clean's going to have just a little bit of an advantage here on the early going. Wind restored and a Mapstone in the first 2 pickups. Both runners actually having the same spaghetti on the turnaround jump coming up the sign. Fairly interesting, but that only leaves 2 pickups left in logic, so we need to have either a skill or a teleporter forthcoming, and we did have a teleporter start kind of last seed. It was eventually forced after Blackroot cleanup. Might be getting another teleporter start here.
Yeah, there are 2 pickups left. Glide could also be a way to unlock just a single extra pickup with that wind, which is also something that our runners didn't have last game. So already just off to a different start. We're going to be seeing different places able to be checked, but we'll have to see if our runners do eventually find Glide to make that wind useful, or if it's just going to be some nice aesthetics, as they're going to find 1 keystone here, leaving the last pickup either going to be a skill or another keystone. Whatever it is will be progression, and on Clean side we're going to see, yep, it's a keystone. Alright, pretty standard start.
Yep, so that'll give the runners access here into Glade's 190 XP underwater, as indicated by Cleanfel there. jmal did take damage on the way, did have to double back to pick up that little health drop from the flower to be able to do this fake flippers check here. Going to lose him a little bit of time compared to Clean, but that high experience value indicative of us probably not finding clean water at any point early in the seed, looking to be mid to late game somewhere. We do have this early map stone as well. This is going to be turned in from Clean in short order at this map stone altar, and of course map stone turn-ins being sequential progression. That is a keystone. It is 2 keystones. Opportunity here for Clean on the way back, especially with charge jump here next to the map stone altar, to actually maybe do a bit of an aggressive early Spirit Caverns play, but no, he's going to continue heading left and clear out wall jump loop, and in all likelihood head to Blackroot. But charge jump start here, Turtle. We have seen what feels like over half of the seeds be charge jump starts and dash again in the wall jump loop. jmal sacrifice not paying dividends.
Oh man, that is 2 power skills back to back very, very early on. That opens up so much that our runners can do, especially once they get something like wall interaction, a little bit more energy, to just break open the entire map. So it's just a couple more skills. Could be a full-on go mode for both of these runners. So it's going to be very interesting to see what their routing decisions come to after they break out of this early game.
Yeah, Bash deciding to only take a short walk to the convenience store and then go visit the neighbor's house there. Swamp Teleporter as well off of the wall jump tree, which is nice to get guaranteed right side access here in the early going. And Warmth returned. You're going to see Clean actually just backtrack here with charge jump, which is a little bit faster if you do want to head through Spirit Caverns first. And with high keystone count here, 4 in his pocket, going to enable him to open up the Spirit Caverns door with 2 keystones left, and in all likelihood, he's hoping find another 2 keystones just to be able to go and chop down another tree at Siege Flame. As jmal gets his wall jump tree, will collect Warmth returned, and immediately Alt R, he's going to be checking Frankie Walk first, and then perhaps making the early trip into Blackbird.
Yep. It's already a slight divergence that we're seeing. Maybe one of our runners will find Dash, that 3rd power skill, just completely break this seed, even more than it already is, before the other does. But as it stands currently, they're just checking a couple more pickups for hopefully maybe some health this time. And yes, Cleanfel does have 4. That is way earlier. And oh my god, he finds Dash. That is all 3 power skills right off the bat for Cleanfel. What on earth is this seed gen?
Well, I think that's go mode. I was about to say actually that with Clean not having enough keystones to get through to Sea Flame there, that he was going to lose a little bit of time to jmal, who wouldn't have to do that revisit, and that's still going to be the case, right? But still, finding Dash earlier than jmal does more than compensates for that. Do anticipate, of course, jmal eventually making the trip over to the Spirit Caverns at the Sea Flame tree. Will eventually find that, and it won't be too long until that happens, so it's not a serious deficit, but still, just having Dash here in Blackroot, not so much for these auto-scroller sections, but going through Indiana Jones and just backtracking from the altar out of this orb room here, if Cleanfel decides to do that, it just kind of makes a whole bunch of things a little bit faster. And jmal actually taking an extra hit of damage there. It does have the 1 HP, but does climb all the way back up, gets another ability, so has to be mindful of that slime, and I like that. Jumps all the way around it to drop down, to avoid having to worry about any of the spine shots hitting him as Clean now. Down to 2 HP, coming back up through the same route here as jmal just did.
Both of our runners from just an hour ago already have a lot of experience with low health amounts, so they're definitely on top of their game, just making sure to watch their health, take only what damage boosts are necessary to speed it up, and stay alive, as we're seeing neither of them take any extraneous deaths early on. Even with the low amount of health that the game starts with. They're just keeping safe, keeping still, right on each other's heels as they go into skip a cutscene here and grab their Dash tree, as well as a pickup behind some Crushers, which is in logic for Cleanfel with Dash, which is not for jmal. And if this is a low amount of experience, jmal might get that hint that, oh, Dash is somewhere nearby, I should probably check it out.
Yeah, basically the only real concern here for jmal as far as like prolonging finding Dash is whether or not he decides to sequence break into Lower Grotto by bashing Marvin up onto Stomp the Peg, but I would anticipate with the Swamp TP, presuming that you remember that you have it, which is like incredibly difficult to do in Randomizer, remember all the things that you have, especially when you're playing, back-to-back races. Nice jump straight down onto that platform from jmal, and he wants to keep that keystone, so he'll charge jump back out. But yeah, if he decides to do the Frankie dash with Marvin and Super Sprinkler and Grotto, that actually is going to cost jmal a lot of time just because of the dash location. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Looks like they're both going to be doing Indiana Jones here, though, at least for the time being.
Yep. And we do save jmal right now with the 6 keystones, meaning that when he does go to Spirit Caverns, he can, if he wants to, get all the way to the top, not having to backtrack. So again, that will save him some time, although, again, not having dash loses time. He is going to immediately go into the boulder area, start the cutscene, grab this TP, and then from there it's up to him whether he's going to use the front key to sequence break, or if he's going to turn back, look at Spirit Caverns with his 6 keystones, and find dash there to catch up in skills to where Clean is.
Yeah, in this situation, you basically hope that jmal is kind of looking at his keystone count and taking that as the indication for where logical progression is going to be rather than trying to do the sequence break. Clean in a better position with dash can definitely do this rather than looking to chase the progression. Has to be careful with Marvin here. Down to half a hit point. Does not want to kill this Frankie because it will not respawn. Whiffs on the charge jump. Has to set it back up again. Nerves showing a little bit for Clean, but air dashes over to the platform, is safely out of it. And jmal does alt-R with the additional keystone and is going to be heading over to Spirit Caverns. So we'll be finding his dash here in short order. In the meantime, left side of your screen, time to see whether Cleanfel decides to take this Frankie down to Grenade or go into Grotto or Swamp or what he is teleporting. We'll find out momentarily.
Yeah, again, all 3 power skills for our runners, as well as with the teleporters that they've already got, just break this map wide open. So Clean is going to take Swamp, possibly head up to Swamp Loop, possibly go into the Grove main area, which yes he will, skipping this cutscene by using the frog Igor to double bash over to the top of the tree. We'll be looking around this area, seeing some new pickups on that side, while jmal is making his way up Spirit Caverns, about to find dash for himself, and we'll see if he decides to continue up to grab the Grove TP or skip that, as well as the Charge Flame tree, and where he will go from there. As again, the world is very, very open, and both of our runners have a lot of decisions to make as to where they're going to go from here.
Just a note on Cleanfel's end with that Frankie double bash. He came out of the Swamp teleporter with like 1/8 HP, so literally a paperclip would have killed him. And just kept moving and showing the confidence, showing that he is starting to settle into this race, this series. And I like just kind of what he's doing here. Maybe pushing all the way for a reverse C-Flame with Charge Dash if he gets enough ability points, as jmal is going to be doing it intended. This Frankie is low on HP on jmal's side, and he does not have wall interaction. Will now actually lose a bit of time having to wait for the respawn of the Frankie here to break the floor. Thankfully, it doesn't take too long to respawn, and he'll get another attempt here at this double bash. Not wanting to get randoed by having something here on the C-Flame XP, which isn't logic with air dash. It is a health cell, so both runners now up to 5 HP, respectively, on either side.
Yeah, that's more HP than our runners had at 40 minutes in the last seed, so that's got to be feeling very comfortable.
But the water veins in sorrow again, as we see on jmal's side, as he gets his 3rd tree. So maybe jmal has decided to not hide bash, but will instead hide glide and put the water veins somewhere a bit more rude this time.
Oh man, that glide difference didn't turn out to be too much in the last seed, just because Clean managed to find the water vein in a decent location. But there are many, many pickups in sorrow and many, many more spikes. It'll be very, very fun to watch both our runners once again search through that. We might see again some different search locations in sorrow. Could lead to a different outcome if jmal finds it first, or just a further speed advantage for Clean if he checks it and it's low again, for example.
Yeah, first attempt here at Swamp Entry failed for Cleanfel. Second attempt looks like it's going to be pretty good going with the classic setup. jmal seems to have forgotten that he has dash, which is certainly something that nobody has ever done in a randomizer setting at all before, forgetting what skill they have. Particularly, not in a race environment. And there's glide. It's not actually going to be a problem, as Cleanfel finds it on the Triforce ability cell at Swamp Entry. And I would be very surprised if Cleanfel did not treat this as an immediate go mode.
Yeah, this seed has just been giving everything to our runners that they want so far. And with all that they have, they still don't have wall jump or blue breakage, interestingly enough. but they don't need those to bypass almost anything in the game. So with the knowledge that our runners have, they'll be able to make it to Sorrow, get the Water Vein, hopefully find the Sunstone wherever it is. That could still be Grenade or Stomp Block.
there.
Oh, never mind! This seed is so unbelievably generous right now. Oh my goodness.
So this plays like right in the Clean's wheelhouse. A veteran of the randomizer, very used to playing with these power skills, has run a number of the vanilla game categories, or base game categories, I should say, not vanilla game, because we do play on Definitive Edition, but like, he's used to having this skill set, and charge dashing, canceling them with dashes and stomps, not that half stomp, but you know what I mean. Like, this is super comfy mode for Cleanfel, and he can be pretty much as thorough as he likes at this point, I think, knowing that he's going to have a pretty significant execution advantage over jmal. But the thing is that if jmal treats that glide pickup as go mode with 5 or 6 HP, which he has, he's got 6 HP right now, right? And presumably he's going to find enough ability cells or health regen or something to just kind of wrap that up. Clean's thoroughness could end up kind of coming back to bite him. We already have the Water Vein location. We already have the Sunstone in our pockets via the Swamp Tree there. So Clean's kind of got to be a little bit careful about how thorough he wants to play, but he definitely does still have a bit of leniency on that front.
Yeah. In terms of all seeds that our runners have ever played, this has got to be one of the most open that they've seen. And that'll let them decide exactly when they want to go mode. Could have been already for both our runners, but they could want more health, more energy, more ability points for something like Ultra Defense. Jmal likes Sense very much, so maybe he will decide to grab ability points for that. It's just really just up to the runners, their own mental states, and what they can think of what they can do. That will let them either gain time or lose time in every single different check that they go for or don't go for.
jmal up to 4 base energy does have a little bit overfill there with the mega energy. May end up going down into Grotto Vault here just because he hasn't found Glide yet, over towards the Stomp Tree area, but yeah, this is a good position for both runners, make no mistake about it, and jmal is by no means out of it. You know what I'm talking about, the execution advantage here for Cleanfel. As you see, Cleanfel actually taking a couple nervous tests there on the spikes, and that's the kind of thing that is going to allow, you know, jmal to keep pace in this race, especially depending on how thorough Clean or jmal decides to be. And of course, there could still be something like, you know, grenade locked Water Vein in Sorrow. Unlikely with, you know, only being 1 grenade lock pickup there, but it's possible. And if that's the case, and you know, some of this extra thoroughness from jmal perhaps ends up finding him a grenade, could definitely keep him ahead in this race here. So both runners now kind of dip it down into lower grotto. Cleanfel does have the advantage of having already been to the Stomp Tree, but other than that, jmal keeping pace pretty good here with Cleanfel so far.
Yep. And of course, both of our runners do now have Mega Energy as well as that 4 energy to be able to access this lower Grotto Vault area. A very good area to check, as we saw last race with Glide and Forlorn Teleporter being here. But this race might not be as useful, but these 2 checks still have, maybe it's a bias that we have as runners who love this area, but it tends to have some good loot for our runners, and we'll see with jmal, not too much here, but Clean is checking it too, so it won't be any major time loss for coming down here.
Yeah, and if nothing else, this is just kind of nice resources for the runners, as jmal is going to be keeping them. Cleanfel's doing a little bit of a save scum there. The 4 keystones currently for jmal. Not too bad of a situation there, obviously, with access illogically with Bash to get into Valley, and ergo Sorrow with Glide Wind Restored. Definitely have an easy key dupe location available to them. A little bit surprised here about Cleanfel going into the Crushers for this pickup. This is exceptionally slow, especially given that you have 3 of the power skills, but finds another health cell, which, you know, may end up just kind of being a nice little comfort thing for the final escape. Not too bad. Again, not going to lose time to jmal, who's doing the same thing. And this just kind of comes down to, I think, a bit of a meta play from Cleanfel, who actually loses a fair bit of time and that health cell as he takes a death in the spikes, grabbed the Spirit Light efficiency and wanted to get out with it, but got pancaked by those stalactites on that Crusher, and is skipping the SLE and just going straight for the tree, but did go in, think about going in for that health cell, actually. So jmal catching up a little bit of time there, just on the basis of that sort of aggressive execution type play from Cleanfel that actually came back to bite him. But Charge Flame here, right next to the double jump tree, makes breaking things in the final escape a heck of a lot easier here as well.
And that is logical blue breakage, which our runners did have both Charge Dash, which lets them break blue plants and walls. That's not in logic, but now with Charge Flame it is. And that'll just be some more pickups that our runners know can be in logic. For example, there is a blue plant in Sorrow that could hold the Water Vein for our runners that they know is in logic for them to check.
Yeah, resources looking fairly good here, particularly on jmal's side, who hasn't taken the death or for the save scums or in the crushers, that kind of thing. We're going to see Cleanfel here do a sequence break via the crushers here with this lure of Marvin, the Frankie, taking it over top of the spikes and dashing through the crushers and to be able to break the floor for us without having stomp or climb plus C jump, etc. And so if jmal puts this off, an opportunity for him to potentially save a little bit of time on Cleanfel in the basis that he does find stomp, but still, I like this play from Cleanfel. Get more trees. You have the Sunstone. Continue to push the objectives. Cleanfel showing that, as thorough as he's been here kind of in the early going, he's willing to play aggressive too.
jmal, on the other hand, is looking to go for a different tree, one that we did already see Clean grab, that being the
but he's
tree.
going lower route.
As we know, that the Glide pickup was near the Triforce AC. jmal can still grab that if he goes the other way around later on, but without a way to break the floor from this side, that is locked off to him, and he will not be grabbing Glide for himself this seed.
Yeah, that's a big unfortunate from jmal's. I did actually take a death there trying to get up, and looks like he maybe has possibly realized that. As we have a bit of a PowerPoint presentation going on here, we're working on making sure that the internet gets fixed. Don't worry about it. Sometimes you just gotta wait it out as is. But Cleanfel is on his way to the grenade tree. jmal looks like he's going to be doubling back and probably going upper swamp area. If so, good for him. He's going to get Glide, which is going to make Sorrow significantly easier as well. Particularly, taking a look at that Water Vein location. That's we saw the exact same situation, but reversed in the last seed, where Cleanfel did not have Glide, but jmal did. It didn't end up mattering that much, but definitely just kind of a nice thing to have. And yeah, it looks like jmal did reset that lower access point and is probably not going to be finding Glide unless he decides to be a little bit more thorough in the outer swamp loop here as we go along.
Meanwhile, Clean, quickly revisiting, grabbing that notorious experience above the Sea Flame tree, and then immediately going for what looks like, Valley Entry. This will be a way for him to get onto the left side, where there are 3 pickups. This isn't in logic without Stomp, but, well, again, Clean's a very experienced runner, doesn't actually need logic in order to get around, and so he can use a Frankie to Stomp Peg, get his way into left side, and from there he'll be able to grab 3 trees, all of which are very necessary to complete the run and the Water Vein up in Sorrow. Also, very, very, very necessary.
I doubt jmal's going to miss the Sunstone here, but race nerves are definitely a thing. Eye on the right just for a moment, see whether or not he altars after checking this lower experience. No, he does go up top. He is going to get a Sunstone, so that's good. I definitely missed that. I think it was the Sunstone actually in a prelim race on the basis of just trying to make an aggressive altar without the Sunstone clues, so I'm kind of a little bit biased towards checking that pickup now, I gotta say. Cleanfel doing the sequence break left side, does not get the rocket jump off of the frog, and is actually going to double back here towards the bird and double bash up top. Does not want to use that charge dash, which does consume energy if you don't get the bash cancel, most notably when you're doing rocket jumps. So wants to be able to place a save right there because wants another underwater check. Nice level up, actually getting a refill on the energy as well. Convenient timing for that. Only question here really is whether or not Cleanfel is going to go for kill plane skip or go for Stompless. Looks like Stompless is indeed the answer, and or using the Wilhelm frog, given that he has the Sunstone. Fun fact, there's a frog that parks up above Kuro's perch, but only when you have the Sunstone, and if you bash him off, he does the Wilhelm scream, hence the Wilhelm frog.
And that's really kind of vanilla, or at least using him is not in the vanilla game, because you can't have him break the floor if you don't have the Sunstone, and the Sunstone is very much locked behind. But in a randomizer setting like this, knowing that you can use him to break the floor, as we are about to see Clean do, is a very, very smart play. Actually, he might even be using him to do more. Ooh, does accidentally send Wilhelm into the spikes. That will instantly kill him.
Sorry, Andy placed a save afterwards. Like, he wanted to do this check just in case the water vein was here. And yeah, he placed a save after killing Wilhelm. So now he actually has to double back and do fast stomp. It's going to cost him just a little bit of time here, but he's in a pretty good position.
On the other side, we are seeing jmal head down to his grenade tree. We'll be catching up in the tree count very shortly. However, Clean is still making progress, in that in a couple of seconds will be his 7th tree, the feather quote-unquote tree. So jmal's getting his 6th, but Clean is still staying a step ahead, maintaining that tree vantage as he moves into the left side, continuing his search for the water vein, as well as those remaining 2 trees over here to let him progress.
Yeah, and again, I just want to point out, like, despite the difference in terms of veteran experience here between the runners, with Cleanfel being the more experienced runner, like jmal only being a tree behind here, it just speaks to like how far he has come in a fairly short time frame over the course of this tournament. Like, he's playing exceptionally well to have the race still be this close, with a whole bunch of power skills right at the start. In fact, all of them, which you think would like heavily lend itself towards a veteran rando player like Clean, but jmal doing his level best to keep pace with him, and has been doing so quite well, is actually going to make the play to Horu here, interestingly enough. Not actually a bad play, in my opinion. We'll lose a bit of time just having to drop down to collect the Horu teleporter, but like, you can come here, you can do a few quick checks, grab the TP, and then ultar, and then you don't have to do all of this shenanigan movement coming through Horu fields to be able to get access to Horu later. So nice little heads-up play from jmal. We'll see how much he decides to check here in Horu fields, and whether or not it pays off. Just an energy cell here on the plant, as Cleanfel is continuing to be a little bit thorough, despite the nice health count and resource count, generally speaking, with 5 energy, 4 ability points, and lucky 13 keystones. Still wanted to check a few things here. Kind of a little bit curious as to Cleanfel's mindset on this. Might have to ask him after we get the 3rd race done.
jmal is also checking around this area.
Right. Brain. Brain.
Yeah, jmal is also checking around this area, possibly looking for a logical way onto the left side, as Clean without Stomp doesn't actually have a logical way here. The Valley teleporter, the Sorrow teleporter, or that Stomp could be what jmal is looking for to get logical access here. Or maybe just Glide to make it very, very more convenient to search for the water vein up in Sorrow, a very spiky but also very windy area.
Yeah, and that's a good point, and still, actually, worth noting that Glide is not in Logic, because it is Climb, Charge, Jump, or Stomp locked there at the Triforce ability cell. So, nothing doing here for Clean so far in his upper Sorrow checks. He is going to altar and get a refill on his health, as he is down to less than 1 HP. jmal, in the meantime, entering Horu, looking to find that logical progression, and at the very least, you know, if you find Stomp here fairly quick, that might be an indicator for him to go to Triforce and end up finding Glide. But down to 2 health with an Elemental staring right at him, is gonna rocket jump again off the Baneling, and it's an energy cell over on the right Elemental. He's got a couple more checks that are very easy to get to, and then after that, some shenanigans will have to ensue. These things get more complicated. In the meantime, Cleanfel, left side of your screen, is cruising his way through Misty.
Clean, having searched some of Sorrow, just decided to back out and head to Misty now. I like this play, because he does need to do Misty anyways, and if he finds something that will help him in his search through Sorrow, it's always just great to have more resources, more skills available. And so potentially picking something up in Misty would be very, very good for him. So he's going to make his way to this tree first before he returns to grab the water vein somewhere up in Sorrow. On the other hand, jmal is also making his way through Valley Entry at this point. Does not have Glide, but does have Bash, Dash, Charge Jump, and will be able to make his way up this area a little bit out of logic and get to the left side, just as Clean has, to grab the same trees and check the same things in search of his water vein as well.
Yeah, solid routing by jmal there, just to be able to get a couple extra pickups on the way to doing this sequence break-in. Did kill the Frankie, so he's going to have to reload because he's going to need to lure the Frankie over to break that peg in, as we alluded to moments ago. Meantime, left side, Cleanfel on a fairly comfortable amount of HP. 7 now is going to be teleporting back to Valley. Did remember to activate it, which is extremely difficult to do. Nobody has ever done that in a randomizer tournament setting ever, and is going to be dropping down here, looks like, to check a few pickups in Lower Valley, perhaps. No, just kidding. Wanted to use the frog for a rocky jump instead of floating up top. Back to Sorrow to continue the search for the water vein. And nice little double dash sequence there from jmal on the right side to get the Frankie to stump to peg. Does take a couple extra hits of damage, though, down to 1 HP. Manages to get the iframes there on the last stomp and bashing the Frankie away from danger to Ori, and rocket jumping up. He's going to be heading now into Valley entry as well. It'll be interesting to see whether or not jmal goes for the kill plane skip or decides to go up towards the stompless area, as did Cleanfel. Opportunity there for jmal to catch up a little bit of time if he does go for the kill plane skip.
Yep. He also does have Wilhelm himself, so he could do the same, try to do the same thing, just hopefully not accidentally killing our good friend who likes to scream very loudly. And that will let him do that fast stompless, or break the floor to get feather, and the way that Clean tried to do before Wilhelm took a little bit of a pointy thing to the face, and his big round frog belly went pop. But jmal will be getting into this cutscene very shortly. Yep, he looks to be going up to try and use Wilhelm to get over, break the floor for him. Well, misses the first shot. Sometimes Wilhelm's angles can be a little tricky if you don't bash it yourself. And
and he doesn't have the extra double jump or glide to get the air stall to bait that shot into the right position either, right? But after a few attempts, does get it still faster than what Clean did. However, worth noting is Climb is there in left Sorrow for Cleanfel, finally getting wall interaction in this seed. Only 30 minutes in, not too bad. But yeah, jmal probably going to want to keep in mind the fact that he didn't check the Wilhelm XP just because of the water vein implication there.
Yep, and Clean now, well, cleaning out this left side of Lower Sorrow, not finding the water vein as of yet. He will be coming back, maybe to grab some more pickups or just to maybe check out the tumbleweed. I'm not sure, but every pickup he get means that pickup that he just went by, the grenade pickup, might be the water vein, and that is very, very scary for both of our runners at this point, as neither has grenade or the clue for where grenade is, and so that could be a search for that single pickup that contains grenade could turn the race completely on its head if that's where the water vein ends up being.
Well, the thing about that is, if it is grenade locked, Cleanfel has the Forlorn TP as he picked it up at Sad Frog ability cell, and also has glide. So like him getting the grenade clue is pretty free in comparison to jmal, who I would guess is going to find the Forlorn TP anyway, but isn't going to have grenade jumps, which would nullify the point of doing the Forlorn escape anyway, but doesn't have glide because of just the routing decision of going into Lower Swamp entry. But the water vein is not grenade locked. It is in fact on the Sunstone plant. Sort of French vanilla dungeon key location, I guess? Question mark? Because it's like, you still get the sunstone there, but it's the water vein instead. I don't know. It's fine. So jmal's going to have a pretty hard time getting out of that. He's going to have to do some shenanigans or go find Glide to be able to get to the sunstone. Does have, worth noting, 5 map stones turned in to Cleanfel's 3. So if progression happens to be on mapstones, then jmal is going to have a little bit of comfort in that regard. But at this point, 9 trees done for Cleanfel. Just has the Ginzo tree left to go. Has the sunstone in pocket as well. Is on his way here to closing out the victory in the series 2-0. But we will be playing a third game regardless, and I expect we're going to see some shenanigan flag settings for that.
Absolutely. Ori is such a fun game with so many different variations. We've only seen a couple of those matches, since most of our runners do prefer, in a competitive setting, to play with standard seeds. But with runners as experienced as Clean and jmal, they could definitely pull off something really fun if they want to. As Clean finishes up his mini-boss here,
What mini boss?
continuing to secure himself progression up the Ginso tree, as jmal is searching around Sorrow, not as of yet finding the water vein up high, or any easy way to get up high, like glide or rocket jumps.
What mini boss, Turtle? What are you-
Sorry, there wasn't a mini boss. I blinked. My bad.
I didn't think there was a mini boss in Genzo. I wonder what you were talking about there for a second. Just kidding. Of course, jmal does remember that he did not do Wilhelm or Crow's Perch. Placing a save here is going to be a little awkward for jmal. No, he's just going to do the bird lure. That's fine. So he'll be able to save Scumness and then head back up into Upper Sorrow. He's going to have to do some thinking, however, about how he wants to try and get to Upper Sorrow, whether that is through a revisit, going and finding Climb and perhaps the Sorrow TP, or going and getting Glide from the Triforce ability cell. Some such business. He has cleared out most of Lower Sorrow here. Does need to set up for the rocket jump to get his way all the way up without using a zombie, and you do want to save your ability points for all the zombieing you're going to have to do there. jmal is actually going to back up the save, I think, and this is just kind of smart in case he struggles with the desired rocket jump setup. You can just go ahead and do an extra zombie, a couple extra checks, and if he needs to, repeat the trick. So not too bad. Not having the wall interaction here, though, is definitely sad panda. Looks like he's trying to find some micro ledges here. Did get one on the right side. Very interesting. Jumping over to the left, looking for another one. You can see him kind of just taking a bit of a hop off the wall there. Indicative that there might in fact be a possibility for him to be able to actually find a micro ledge. Otherwise, he's going to have to get a frog to rocket jump him the entire way up. In the meantime, left side of your screen, we have door warp attempts for Clean. How long will we go until we see violence? That is the question.
Well, at this point, Clean, well, we're not going to see violence. He could have failed that trick a couple of times, as the lead he's built up over the course of this race has been growing, especially with that water vein find, putting him able to finish the game, whereas jmal is still searching for a way. And so with that, Clean will be getting door warp, entering the final escape, has enough skills to make it through, if not with a little difficulty, but he can definitely do it, and we'll see him, hopefully, finish the game out pretty shortly from here.
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a first try door warp because, when he didn't get it the first 4 or 5 times, it obviously meant he wasn't trying. So it was first try because when he got it, he was actually trying. So jmal takes a death here in the early going and misses. He's going to reset back to the Valley TP. Having glider double jump is actually going to make this fairly hard for him. Left side, in the meantime, Cleanfel through the first couple rooms of the final escape. Plenty of HP to be able to go swim through this poisoned water. Sorry, Clean, you did not bless your own seed. What are you even doing, my man? Taking the fish, however, for a couple of double bash chains. Jeremy proving useful once again. And the rocket jump up into the cutscene trigger, and approximately a minute 20 of holding right will spell GG at a 2-0 win in the series for Cleanfel. And overall, very well played, especially from a metagame perspective, I think, Turtle. Knowing who he was going up against, didn't want to get randoed, continued to play thorough, did not, in fact, get randoed as a consequence of that, and was able to take a pretty quick 2 games off of his opponent.
Yeah, Clean definitely had some great plays in terms of where he was checking and what he was thinking about in terms of logic. Like in the last game where he knew that something was left behind, or in this game where he knew that he could get to all of Sorrow minus the grenade pickup. And so he just made sure to be very, very good in checking what he could at the time, going for density plays and checking what he could to make sure he didn't get randoed, which he didn't. Great job, Clean, showing off why he is our second seed, and I believe now one of our 2 upper bracket finalists, which is a very, very illustrious position for him.
Yeah, he's going to be going on to face either Guard or Zemsis. That series in its entirety will be played on Thursday, September the 30th, starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. So put that in your calendars if you're excited to see who Cleanfel is going to be facing, as he finishes with a time of 36:28. That is a GG for him. And we also have a couple other matches coming up I want to remind you of. We have Evo versus Dedu tomorrow. That series tied up at 1. Third game required going to be happening tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern. And Sirius versus Strike Knight also tied up at 1 apiece. That's going to be happening at noon Eastern on Wednesday. And in the meantime, jmal has noticed that Cleanfel has finished, so he's gonna give this one a little bit of digging to see if he finds what he needs to be able to finish out the seed, but otherwise might just do the forfeit and then get on to the 3rd seed for some fun times, maybe some shards, maybe some bonus pickups, maybe bonus light pickups, who knows. It does get the Valley TP there at the Swamp AC next to the teleporter, which is kind of just a bit unfortunate with the sequence break that both runners did, having missed that pickup. That's fine. We still don't know where Stomp is, which is the likely the intended progression here to be able to get Clyde and put everything else open. Keystone over here, and we'll see whether or not jmal finds his glide here in the Swamp entry, or perhaps even Stomp here in the Swamp Loop area. Just 13 XP on the Mortar Shot pickup. Does have a health cell to his left to grab, as well as a plant and another ability cell. I believe we saw the ability cell from Clean, but I don't think we saw the plant. I think he only had Charge Dash at that time. I didn't want to spend the time going up for it. Of course, yes, reminder, we are playing Game 3, no matter what, after this. So, jmal continuing to do just a little bit of digging, and yeah, we'll let him do that, and then we'll see what ends up happening for Game 3 in terms of flag settings. We'll let you know as soon as we do.
Yep. jmal is now approaching the Triforce AC, where we know Dash to be. He can't as of yet. Oh wait, not Dash, Glide. And that wasn't on the AC; it was on the plant.
Oh,
my bad.
My bad.
But he does.
No,
he does
that's
indeed
my bad.
find Glide.
You're just following me, dude. Like that's totally my fault. I thought it was on the AC at the time. That, in my defense, we were having an excellent workshop PowerPoint presentation from Appletree at that time. And so I wasn't 100% certain what it was, so I'm just going to take the mulligan on that. But jmal has found Glide. It is what he needs to finish out the seed. He's going to be floating back up into Sorrow now. No, it's Romulus is bad. Okay, never mind. I'm out. I am absolved of all responsibility.
Yeah. Imagine, as we always say, our runners, it is impossible for them to know what they've gotten. And for us, we are watching 2 runners, so it is twice as impossible, apparently. But with that glide, jmal is now able to ascend very smoothly up to the top of Sorrow. We'll be able to check his charge jump tree and then keep on going if he wants, if he needs, to find the water vein up at the very tippity top of this giant spiky mountain.
That's the Mountain of Doom, so to speak. Sorrow Pass, proving to be quite sorrowful, in fact, as jmal ends up just getting sort of sucked into the spikes there. And wants to check what that was. It is just 20 experience. Did check the previous keystone, I think, so he's alright. Gonna go to the tree first, as is the sort of meta play to do. Always push trees first before you go around digging for the water vein. Will be upset to not find the water vein here at the charge jump tree, but doesn't have a whole lot left to actually access. Aside from... Actually, no, he didn't go do left side yet. I thought he may have done that, but I'm misremembering things. So we'll have to see how he routes it. Could be fairly quick before he finds his water vein, or he might end up going down into the left side first. But we'll see how it plays out.
He does grab Ultra Defense, and I definitely like that. Being in a very spiky, deadly cave, just being able to take a couple more hits is always really nice. Especially as we're seeing without wall interaction. Some of these areas are really, really hard to get up. So having the Ultra Defense will just let him take a couple more damage boosts. We do know that Climb as wall interaction is somewhere else in Sorrow. But considering what jmal did last seed when searching for the water main, where he searched the upper parts of Sorrow first, he might not find Climb down below. And yet he is looking to head upwards using a Terra Break to get through this breakable ceiling. That'll let him get up to the Sunstone and the plant where the water main lies. And we'll be skipping Climb, meaning he's doing a wall-starved seed or a wall-starved escape at this point.
Probably not a big problem with Bash and Glide in his pocket there. Does get the Water Vein on the plant, altars immediately. We do have information from our lovely gentleman Zemsis, who is informing us that Wall Jump was right side forlorn on the plant. Grenade was upper Ginzo. Hold on. Grenade was upper Ginzo redirect XP. Clean Water was Spider Sack Grenade Door. Double Jump was Lost Grove Long Swim ability cell. And Stomp was lower Blackroot Laser XP. These guys were finding nothing aside from what they got this seed. Holy crap.
The seed seemed so generous. It gave all the power skills within the first 10 minutes. But that just... Oh, wow. It was only the power skills that the seed was generous with. Everything else was a struggle.
So the logic was Sea Flame to go get Glide from the plant, to go get the Valley TP, to use Bash and Glide to float up to Wilhelm, to break the rocks, to go up into Sorrow, to get Climb, to get Stomp from the lower Blackroot XP. So... oh my god. This is
Thanks,
amazing.
I hate it.
Thanks, I hate it, right?
Yup. Oh, boy.
Well, at least it wasn't Mapstone progression, I guess, right?
We're just saving that for the next game, the fun one.
Okay, I see. I see how it is. Turtle's rolling the next seed, guys. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Jamal is complete with his non-existent Ginzo mini-boss, just for inexplicable reasons has to wait outside the purple door. Does have 6 keystones, does not have to worry about duping. Takes a couple of damage, looking for the ghost door, but then is like, oh wait, I have too much health. It's not going to save time. It's fine. Ghosted Vast Tree, 99 plus 86 XP is some value of XP, which I'm not doing math on stream. We do have some thoughts before Cleanfel. He's not going to pop in for an interview before the next race, by the way. We're just going to jump into it after Jamal's wrapped up. But he has said about this seed. He wants to say things now, by the way, while it's fresh in his mind before he does the third game. He was nervous in the mid-game, actually. Felt that he routed trees in the wrong order. And that's just like a feeling thing, I suppose. Maybe not necessarily like an objectively poor routing thing, just sort of how it felt for him. In a seed where he felt wall interaction could possibly be a game changer, he was also digging for some extra health and ultra defense so that he wouldn't have any issues with the final escape or anything like that. Still shaking. He cannot believe he's in the upper bracket finals. I sure can, Cleanfel. You, sir, are a tremendous randomizer runner. Super proud of you, bud. Proud of Jamal as well, who's shown that he is somebody to be a little bit scared of as well as he's entering his final escape. Just basically getting randoed by that Glide position a little bit, Turtle. Otherwise, this probably would have been, you know, maybe a final escape difference between the two runners. So, absolutely nothing to be ashamed of for Jamal to be able to make it to the upper bracket semis and compete at this level against a runner of Cleanfel's caliber. Definitely GG to both runners.
Yep. And of course, this is the upper bracket. Jamal isn't out of the tournament yet. He will move down to the lower bracket where he can still have a chance to get back in through even more best of 3 matches. So we are very much looking forward to seeing Jamal hopefully get a chance to come back in, have some more great matches where he just hides Bash in the best places and makes his way on. Having a little bit of difficulty now with the final escape. Again, not having wall interaction, but he does have Bash. What a power skill. We'll let him get all the way up using the Sigma Rocks, get out. GG to Jamal. Just another minute and a half of holding right for him.
GG indeed, and he's going to find out who his opponent is tomorrow. That is going to be one of either Lost to Do or Eve Order. That match, once again, I know I'm reminding you a lot, but like this is going to be super hype. It's 4 o'clock Eastern tomorrow. That is going to be on SpeedGaming 2, as commentated by Mad Insane and Vooligan. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. While I am remembering about it, I do want to thank as well our statisticians, Lion Almanar and Skullblacka, and Appletree on the restream. Take internet, Appletree. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. You can't control your ISP. It's fine. A little bit more holding rights, and Turtle, So, talking a little bit just about the future of these runners here, we've kind of done a little bit of a breakdown of the way that this series has played out so far. Cleanfel, obviously, upper bracket, as you mentioned, is going to be facing one of Guard or Zemsis, both very scary runners, talented runners. Just kind of your thoughts on the potential matchup there, and Cleanfel's play so far in this tournament, and possibility of getting into the grand finals.
Yeah, Cleanfel has not lost a race yet. I think that can only also be said for Guard and Zem. So them just being the tippity top of runners of this tournament so far, just so exciting to see who will move on between them, and then who will move on between them and Clean. And it was, well, they could move down to lower bracket and then come back up. We could potentially see something like a best of 13 between jmal and Clean, or Guard and Zem, or Clean and whoever wins there. That would be the most fun thing for me personally, seeing them come back up to reface each other for a full 10-match finals.
Bracket reset, let's go. And yeah, for jmal's part, he's got to do or Evo that he's going to find out tomorrow, so we'll see how that ends up playing out between those runners. Definitely capable of taking a game off of those. That is going to be best of 3. All the lower bracket games from now on are going to be best of 3, by the way. It's only going to be the grand finals that are going to go up to a possible best of 5. In the meantime, we are going to let the runners have a little bit of a chat and decide what it is that they want to do for the next race, which we're going to play just for fun. Who knows what seed flags that they're going to put on. Cleanfel does advance, but we are going to play the 3rd game. Anyway, Turtle, thank you very much for being here, man. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It was a great time, and I'm sure that you and, was it 2Kill? Will be having a great time in just 10 minutes. So everyone else, stay tuned for that fun final Game 3 of spiciness coming up in 10 minutes. Until then, goodbye.
Welcome back to the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament 2021. My name is Shafe, joined by 2Kill on commentary this time for race number 3 between Cleanfel and jmal. Cleanfel taking the series to... but we're going to play the third one just for funsies. And so we're going to do something that we have not seen a whole lot of, in fact, have not seen at all so far in this tournament. We are going to be playing a expert World Tour seed with bonus light and shards. It's going to be spicy fun. So we don't have to worry about trees. Trees are gone. Trees are somewhere off and lumberjacked and away into the wilderness somewhere. Instead, we need to go and find relics that are placed randomly throughout the world with some interesting flavor texts as contributed by fellow members of the community. And are you as excited for this race as I am?
Yeah, with how the series has been played out so far, I'm very hyped for this game. I hope the skills are scattered as they were in the first two, and that we get as fun of a seed as we're all hoping to with all those flags that we're seeing. So yeah, very excited for this one. And of course, because Clean already won this matchup, there's nothing on the line for the two runners except for a bit of fun. So I think they will be putting on a great show for us.
Oh yeah, of course we're going to have to try and keep tabs on whether or not jmal can actually hide bash in this third race. It was in the wall jump loop in both of the previous races. jmal kind of notorious for hiding bash. We have given the runners the go-ahead. We will be getting underway very shortly. And so World Tour, indeed. Yes, that is what we are playing. We are getting ready to go as frames are also gone. Hopefully they will return shortly. Race has begun. Fragment Thrilled Lupo is the title of your seed. The title of your race room is Intrepid Ridley. Sorry, race room. This is not Super Metroid. It is Ori and the Blind Forest. Relicless areas include Glades, Ginzo, and Misty. So, in fact, the Ginzo tree is not even slightly required, and Glades we can just nope out of if we end up finding an appropriate level of skills or teleporters or some other shenanigans. To be able to do such things. But it is a Keystone start, so entirely probable that we're going to be heading into Glades here in the early going.
Yeah, and we're seeing both runners checking where those relics are. jmal already moused over the horror location, moused over the sorrow location, so maybe not too happy with having those two locations to look out for. Already did some searching in sorrow in the last two seeds, and there's our first skill, Grenade. We're 1 out of 3 already, so maybe now we get to see Climb and Charge Jump as well fairly soon.
Indeed. Picking up the base attack ability here, Sign. We are going to be seeing more of the dungeons that we don't normally see, which is kind of nice. Having Ginzo not be required, but Forlorn and Hard be required. Kind of a bit of a trepidatious situation for the runners, perhaps, but for us as viewers, we are certainly entertained. I'm just going to be right back, actually, and go make some popcorn, if you don't mind. You want me to bring back some popcorn for you? I'll bring back popcorn.
Oh
Cool.
yeah,
So,
popcorn, definitely. This calls for popcorn. We're already seeing some shenanigans from jmal on the right. He's using this menu glitch to get up to that grenade pickup right next to spawn with only grenade, and yeah, he's successfully done it. We'll now open this door. This is of course expert logic, so there might be some stuff that you can do. Of course, this is not necessarily required from you, but we're definitely seeing more from the runners than we would see in standard, as Clean on the left has taken a bit of a death after collecting wall jump in the fake flippers, so going back for that, and will now head to the next area. Let's see where it takes him.
yeah, and as you mentioned, this being on expert logic, that wall jump pickup with 4 health underwater there is actually a logical progression for the runners in this instance, as opposed to the standard seeds, where even if this was wall jump, it would not be the intended progression. jmal taking a couple deaths from the fish, takes another one, as the fish has decided to bite back. No sushi for you, jmal, I'm afraid. Cleanfel heading into Blackroot with fairly comfortable lead here in the early going, but it doesn't necessarily mean a whole lot. So kind of nice to get Blackroot out of the way. We do know that a relic is here. We do have Grenade, but still nice to know whether or not it's dash locked or stomp locked or etc. etc. So good to be able to get some variation in here with the World Tour. and also some information with coming into Blackheart. Down to 3 HP, did take a bit of a hit coming down to this orb room. He is fine, collects the energy, and gets an ability cell. So a couple extra ability cells, always nice to have for some shenanigans with the save anywhere, and jmal hot on the heels.
Yeah, and if you're new to the tournament and have only played the base game, for example, we've made the grenade ability free in the randomizer, so you don't pay energy in order to throw a grenade. So this is why Jamal on the right has just been spamming it to kill enemies, and Cleanfel will surely do that as well. Yeah, see it here. You can see it here. Yeah, it's just a nice addition to the randomizer in order to maximize quality of life, and it's also used for blue breakage, which there are a lot of things that you can break with blue breakage, and not being able to do so just because of energy would be a bit mean.
Yeah, it definitely would be. Charge Flame actually does have its base cost reduced as well for exactly that reason in the game here. Another health cell for Cleanfel up at the experience there. We are playing on shards as well, meaning that dungeon keys are split up into 5 fragments, and the runners will have to go and find at least 3 of them to be able to put together an entire dungeon key. And just for point of interest, for logic note, if that's the kind of thing you're interested in, all 5 shards do have to be in logic in order for the dungeon itself to be in logic. Runners won't care about that. Who cares about logic as a runner?
Yeah, especially with expert logic, with all the stuff you can do and all the things that the runners can do that is even out of expert logic. I don't think they will rely onto logic as much. But I have actually a question for you, Shave. What would be the meanest spots for all those relics that you can think of on the top of your head right now?
Definitely something Stomp Blocked and Horu. That is like 100% one of the rarest places that you can get. And I would actually like to see like a chase around, given that the Ginzo tree does not have a relic in it. I would like to see Ginzo forced on the basis of having to go there to find shards in order to be able to gain access to Mount Horu itself. So like at least 3 shards lock in Ginzo so we can see all of the dungeons. That'd be pretty nice. Could also just be like some obnoxious bash locked place with you know, like R1, depending on where the bash location is. Of course, it's been friendly so far to our runners in this series. Whether or not that will continue to be the case has yet to be found. And you can see Cleanfel already having a little bit more of a sort of fun mentality towards the way that he's playing. Instead of going for that aggressive platform drop there, he's just playing it safe and dropping down successive platforms rather than going for the full head-on jump. jmal did lose a little bit of time here on the auto-scroller section, by the way. And also getting pancaked, deciding to go to the Waffle House with Ori in Blind Forest of Nibel. And we'll have to go back to check this pickup behind the Crushers, allowing Cleanfel to gain a bit more of a lead heading down to the Indiana Jones area.
Yeah, as I am no expert in the logic whatsoever, maybe a quick heads up of what could be in logic on expert, as we've only seen standard for most of the tournament, would maybe be a good idea, since this Crusher movement might actually be in logic, but as I said, I don't have any idea. So if you can help me with that, that would be great, and also inform our viewers.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, going over the Crushers there is an expert. Doing the save anywhere glitch to be able to despawn the hitbox of the boulder is not in logic. And I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, jumping like the really tight jump sequence to be able to get to the Crushers in the first place with wall jump only is a master strat, question mark, but not 100% on that, because I'm just so used to doing the SA here and getting access to this anyway. But yeah, that's the sort of thing. Besides like doing save anywhere glitches, you're looking at more complicated movement and damage boosts. Expert expects you to take up to I think double the damage of standard logic being 3 damage, and then also double bashing is in logic in expert, which is not a thing in standard, as well as rocket jumps and using charge dash to break plants and that sort of thing. So basically the things that you would expect a speedrunner to know, and like not only from a knowledge standpoint but how to execute, that's kind of what is expected for expert logic. Whereas master is you have lost your marbles and have spent 2 hours doing one Frankie Stomp lure. So we won't be seeing much of this.
Yeah, okay, so that is a good collection maybe of information. There's still no relics for both of our for either of our runners, as they are now both heading into glades with the keystones that they have acquired and make progress in here. So let's see whether there is some more stuff down here. Of course, wall injection and blue breakage is kind of a standard start for the randomizer, so it could be a long time before they find anything else, because the entire right side is open to them. And they have to find some relics on the right side, but they also have to get to the left side. And there's a skill velocity upgrade for Jamal on the right. As we are playing with bonus light, skill velocity upgrade basically enhances the speed of something like bash or dash. And it's just overall a very nice thing. And there's our first water vein shard on the charge flame tree. Of course, we don't need to collect the trees, but they still contain pickups that could be necessary, just as Jamal is showing here.
Yeah, definitely, and not a whole lot in the way that the runners can do that is considered for expert logic at the moment, aside from damage boost strats and a few extra things like walking over crushers. Thanks, by the way, to the folks on the truck skull and turtle confirming that getting to that health cell at the Blackroot teleporter is in fact in logic and expert, so appreciate you guys very much. Cleanfel, in the meantime, going to be first to the wall jump tree, again not required, playing World Tour, looking for some of those relics, and so far looking like we're going to get a forced progression through the spider sack area, unless something happens to be at the valley entry, or we find, you know, the Grove teleporter, which is basically another way of getting to valley entry. The Spirit Cavern is still a thing, could have something. Do expect Cleanfel to do that, and then probably take the Grove teleporter, even if he does get 4 keystones in Spirit Cavern. Just being able to save those keystones for things like Genzo or Sara or whatever is just kind of nice to do.
Yeah, of course, both of our runners are capable of key duplication, as we've seen before, but just finding them, of course, is quicker than having to set up the save and kind of doing the whole thing, as they're both kind of retracing each other's step. Cleanfel on the left also picking up his skill velocity upgrade now and getting his first water vein chart, as Jamal is heading to the wall jump tree, so nothing new on either side for now. But there could be a lot of divergence upcoming with the Grove teleporter being on the board. Clean looks like he's just going to head over the normal way, or, well, he's going into Spirit Caverns, it seems like.
Yeah, wants to check Spirit Caverns first, just to make sure that he's not going to be missing anything in there. Definitely a viable option to do. Jmal catching up a little bit of time here, it seems, actually. Just not too sure exactly what has precipitated that, but is going to be able to head on over to Spirit Caverns as well. Cleanfel taking a little bit of a damage boost there. Did want to allude to the fact that basically if it's a glitch, it's not an expert logic. Like, so save anywheres, key dupe glitches, that kind of thing. Like, things that are like heavy glitches are not in logic. Door warps are not in logic. In expert, so on and so forth. So just to keep that in mind, it's all stuff that you can execute with speed tech as opposed to like actually glitching the game, which is always, you know, it's a weird line to define in speed games, but for us, like, glitches are like going out of bounds and save anywheres and stuff, that kind of thing. So just as a point of definition for you. Cleanfel did finish out Spirit Caverns, did have enough keystones, if so desired, to open up that door, but as anticipated, does take the Grove teleporter to save said keystones. Remembers to look to the right so he can head left and check Valley Entry.
Yeah, Jamal is close on his toes and will be heading there as well. There's the Forlorn teleporter. This is nice. It kind of acts like one of the shards, so you need 2 more shards to activate it, but it's of course a quicker way to get into Forlorn itself, and since we have a relic there, they eventually need to get into the dungeon, as the pickups right before Forlorn don't actually count as Forlorn. He's now going to check some more pickups here in Valley Entry that he can reach with this wall jump. This is very precise jumping, as you can see, taking some damage to the spikes. Gets up nicely as Jamal is following his steps with heading into the left. Didn't have to watch the cutscene as well. And Cleanfel also now using those grenades to get rid of those enemies that can be really annoying if you don't want them to be in your way, but really helpful if you have something like Bash to use them to get up. And with that, nothing useful has been found, so Spider Sack, as you mentioned, seems likely to have the progression they are looking for, as Clean is now setting up to skip the cutscene, as Jamal is also heading to the right.
Yeah, and basically on the basis of Cleanfel doing that extra check with that sequence of wall jumps that you were talking about to kill, quite a bit of time sink on that front. So the runners have actually ended up kind of evening out here, equalizing. jmal looks like he's going to be pushing for Sense, picking up Ultra Magnet on the purple tree, so all XP pickups will float in his direction and won't be too sad about missing that 43 XP that Cleanfel found over the Valley Entry area. They have pulled the lever. They will be heading through Spider Sack. And yeah, so from here on, basically, it's just sort of linear pathing over to the right-hand side for the time being. Runners at equal pace in terms of skills and trees and map stones, and jmal basically just having skipped a couple pickups has caught up some of that execution disadvantage that he had there in the early going. Clean is actually trying to very, very carefully lure just a bit of that XP because he wanted to get a level up here right next to the spider so that he could put 2 energy in the door, get the refill from the level up, and then open up the door afterwards as well. jmal here with Ultra Magnet is going to have an option to break an energy crystal up above the Spider Sack here and drop down and put in the 2 energy and do it that way. So possible advantage here for jmal, just being able to avoid the trek back. And there you can see, yep, breaks the crystal, jumps down, and as the energy is floating over to him, puts 2 energy in the door, and is rewarded with an extra ability cell, as both runners also open up the grenade lock door, just for future, to save a little bit of time if they end up revisiting this area later on.
Yeah, you can see how synced they are. This is a very close race, and one thing to mention as Jamal is putting his ability cells into the purple tree is that relics don't actually show up with Sense, so Sense being a nice ability to track down where those important skills are. And there's the first relic on Jamal's side to the right in the swim with those 5 health, barely gets there, just doesn't get the timing right to alt R. Surely we'll try that again, maybe after saving, or just gonna remember that it is there and get back to it later, potentially, as Cleanfel on the left has skipped that pickup for now.
Yeah, that's a nice knowledge thing for jmal, and it's definitely faster to skip it for now and come back for it later when you have more HP to be able to get out of it, or you're doing a revisit at some point later on, because really jmal's only option right now to be able to keep that pickup is to alt-R, go back to the Grove teleporter, and then do all the slow traversal to come back to get that. So it's not progression, knows he doesn't need to keep it for the time being, and so there's just option to skip it. Cleanfel down to 1 HP as he's breaking a whole bunch of slimes here, Matryoshka slimes, if you will. Does get 1 refill off of the fire slime there. Not going to help him against the Baneling if he takes a hit, which was pretty close on both fronts, both on the swing through from the Baneling and the explosion after the fact. Cleanfel nearly getting obliterated, but does manage to stay alive. Did not like what he found there, just some XP. Decides to save Scummit and come back. jmal is going to get the level up here for a refill, and also save Scummit and head on. I think both runners probably going to grab the Swamp TP here, because nobody is as... how do I say this politely? Invested in attempting Iceless as some other people in chat might be.
Yeah, Iceless is a very, very precise trick in the area where Jamal is to only use wall jump to be able to get into Grotto. Basically skips the entire swamp loop, but has some very precise timing, very precise button presses. and has lost people hours and hours of trying it in maybe a practice seed or something. As Clean on the left is skipping some cutscenes, and Jamal, taking a quick death, needs to push the stone again. Yeah, so far fairly linear seed, only wall interaction and blue breakage so far. Of course, still a lot of seed left to go, as Clean will open up this grenade locked pickup. Grenade, fortunately, enough not being a problem this seed. There are a lot of grenade locked pickups in the world, so one weight off their shoulders. But of course, these stomped lock pickups could still hold something in Horus, specifically the relic that they need.
Yeah, and worth noting, the runners do have a clue that they can access at the end of the Forlorn Escape, which will tell them the locations of both Grenade and Stomp. Obviously, they have grenades, so they're not worried about that. But if they do need to find Stomp in order to find the relic, that is an option for them. But at the moment, skill set wise, impossible, because they don't have glide or grenade jumps or other things that will enable them to do that. jmal actually does want to double back for this relic now that he has the Swamp TP. I don't mind this timing. He knows it's here, wants to go and get it out of the way while he remembers about it, and that is completely valid. As he is taking damage from the fish, however, this is a 5 HP swim, presuming you don't take damage from the fish. So he's kind of got to wait until the fish gets into an amenable position before going for it. There it is, nicely done. As Cleanfel also found his first relic on the swamp entry plant via a grenade throw over to the right of Ringo. But this does mean, as a consequence of jmal wanting to get that relic out of the way now, that he's going to be trailing on Cleanfel's footsteps, and we're going to end up seeing further progression here from Clean, most likely on the left side of your screen before we see it on jmal.
Yeah, and we will see... this is so far a pretty slow seed, but this is as to be expected from Expert. Of course, Expert requiring you to some more tricks, and wall interaction, blue breakage being just the standard slow start. Yeah, as Clean is going into the glide wall, gets another mapstone. Of course, mapstones could hold stuff. No relic, of course, because there is no relic on mapstones, but could also still hold shards or any kind of skill, of course. And he's trying to get up this glide vault that is named this because in the 2017 tournament, glide has been there exactly twice, so very creative name giving right here. Having a bit of trouble, these slimes are very terrible to get around.
Yeah, this is a lot easier if you have climb, because you can sort of just adjust your position a little bit more precisely than you can with wall jump. And also you can throw the grenade from a climb position on the wall, whereas Clean has to do a turnaround jump and to be able to throw the grenade. And the thing is that like he really wanted to go and check that, even if it was just experience, because it would get him a level up and he could use the save anywhere to skip the bridge cutscene there. Does decide to give up on it for the time being and drop all the way down 179 experience on mapstone number 2, which is a fairly high value. Indicative, perhaps, of important progression being gated later on. There's left side TP, by the way. There's a Valak TP. And Cleanfel is going to go and check the Grotto mini-boss as well, with just Grenade. A little bit more awkward than it is with other skills to be able to get a fast 2 or 3 cycle on this. You basically have to be moving and jumping and throwing your grenades in order to be able to get a grenade redirect. A sufficiently appropriate time to be able to get that redirect off the projectile to do damage to the mini-boss, but does get it and actually does position himself up on the wall for a few last shots with Sign, so that he can check that pickup quickly immediately after the cutscene has played. Alt-Rs is going to come back down into Grotto now, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not anything is important actually there to kill on the water vein location or the experience to the right, because Cleanfel has kind of mismanaged his ability points on that front. You can see jmal has 7, is going to have no problems skipping that cutscene. If something powerful is there, like jmal's in a pretty good position here, because Cleanfel has no way to get that right now.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, since you alluded to that glitches are not needed in Master, this is not needed, but not Master, Expert that we're playing on, of course. but it could still hold something that they were expected to get way later, as Jamal is heading to the left for now, getting to that Death Gauntlet area, luring that Frankie. And on the top of Glidewall, there was underwater skill usage. Not too useful right now, since they don't have Bash or Dash, and not Clean Water, so not too useful for now, but can be useful later. And there's the broken keystones in the grotto right when dropping down, so at least they are not on the water vein or the XP next to it, but there could of course still be a skill or a shard. There's a lot of important pickups in this seed, and yeah, they could hide everywhere, as he's picking up energies and enough energy to open the 4 energy vault in Grotto itself and around the world, as jmal is now setting up for the save anywhere on the glitch. So let's see what he finds here that Clean missed and can't get to right now.
And interestingly enough as well, Clean is skipping, despite that, for energy, skipping lower left Grotto. So nothing so far here for jmal. The water vein has one more pickup to get as Cleanfel's going through the crushers, and it's Stomp for jmal. That's actually pretty nice. Being able to have Stomp for Mount Horu is absolutely fantastic. A lot of pickups are gated behind Stomp pegs there. I do anticipate Cleanfel's probably going to double back for that at some point, but in the meantime, that's kind of rough. But yeah, Cleanfel managing with a nice damage boost here to get up and check that energy cell. Not easy to do. Very well done.
Yeah, definitely. And Stomp being another nice way of getting rid of enemies next to Grenade that they already have. Comfy in that regard, Clean also being on 6 health, Jamal having 5. This seed has definitely been more generous than some other seeds the two have played today, so... And in that regard, at least, of course, we're 25 minutes in and they still only have 2 or 3 skills here. Not too quick of a seed, but no one expected that, and no one was preparing for that, as Jamal is now getting into the Grotto Vault, doing all the checkups that he can here with his 4 energy, as Clean is going through Death Gauntlet from the start with the 4 energy and the wall injection. This is doable. And he will get back into Grotto. Still can't get to that Stomp that jmal has, but surely will do some more checkups around this area as he lures this Frankie to break the floor. And jmal takes a quick death before being able to check those 2 pickups. We'll go back for it just to be sure that there's nothing that he missed there, as Clean is going back into Grotto. A lot of XP underwater, maybe not what he wanted, because he likes clean water. We haven't seen clean water in the last 2 seeds. But yeah, let's see if they can find it on this seed. I really hope they do.
Indeed, indeed. And that's actually costing jmal a fair decent chunk of time, just because I had to push the block here for the little bit of an auto-scroller section. And Grotto Vault is health regen and experience. It was a jump upgrade, by the way, that I missed on Cleanfel's side that allowed him to check that energy cell. I did not notice that they had jump upgrades. He's going to be going through doing Death Gauntlet, which he has not done yet. I like this routing. To come through from Glades and check things out, and then see if there's anything here worthwhile, and if not, well then dip on out and to go somewhere else. This energy cell is a whole lot of nothing. jmal is looking to set up for probably an iframe abuse here to get across the spikes, or he's going to use one of his 8 ability cells that he has to level up. A little bit in the blue tree. Does want to save his ability cells at the moment, just to see whether or not he wants to push for sense or for ultra defense or something like that. But Cleanfel with the jump grade, nice knowledge from Cleanfel, by the way, recognizing that he actually can make that jump, and comes over here to be able to check this. So bonus pickups, proving me wrong in things that I thought that you could do, or couldn't do rather, but actually can. So Cleanfel does get the Stomp. That does put a few things in lower black root and logic, actually, including a grenade throw.
Yeah, and with that they are now on skill parity again, and pretty much also on parity of what they've checked. This has been a very close race, even with all the parity of routing and stuff. Jamal, of course, has that growth relic that Clean has not found yet. But other than that, they have pretty much caught up to each other. Jamal now also doing the very slow mini boss here. Gets rewarded with his 16 experience right here and will continue further into Grotto as Clean is now doing his Grotto Vault and will also get, I think it was health regen and some experience or something like that. So nothing too useful on either side here right now, and they will have to see where their next progression is. As you mentioned, there's of course lower Blackroot that they could get one pickup right now. But other than that, I don't think there is too much in logic, but yet again, don't quote me on that. I don't know anything about expert logic right here, and I'm sure our runners are aware of what they can do. There's a lot in the world, and you need to know how to go around this. But they have been shown to be excellent runners in this game. As Clean on the left finds his second water vein shard right here, one that Jamal missed, of course, and that he didn't go for in the Grotto Vault, as it is quite a damage boost to do, but expert logic could require them to do that. So yeah.
Yep, indeed it does, even though, technically speaking, for reasons, your lower left grotto is not a logic until you have Stomp, and yeah, so Stomp is actually, weirdly enough, I guess the logic, because I got the logic helper open here just in case, right? Like, Wall Jump and Grenade actually does put the water vein area in logic with an expert, including the Gumo Rock Hideout Rockfall. So Stomp is the logical progression, and then that opens up lower left grotto for that extra water vein shard. But yeah, so not a whole lot left, really, other than Blackroot and Triforce AC, and I don't think Buttercell... Yeah, no, Buttercell's in logic with 6 HP. That's right, yeah. So this is definitely something that Clean can find progression on for sure. Not too sure where jmal missed out on that extra XP. Just extra double jump, which for now is not useful because you don't have double jump. And extra double jump does not give you double jump, as it turns out. jmal going to be checking the grenade lock back up here at spawn. Sometimes impossible to remember, in fact. And gets another ability cell. Lots of ability cells here, actually. So as far as like doing zombie shenanigans go into various areas, pretty comfortable for both of the runners. And you know, in a seed like this, to kill like expert logic or not, you know, you're running around with wall jump and grenade for 30 minutes pretty much, and you're not finding anything else. Sense is kind of looking like an attractive play here.
Yeah, definitely. Jamal has been showing that he's likely going for Sense a lot, and in this sense definitely a good play, but of course yet again does not show any relics, and that plays a role in this, as we need to collect our relics and not the trees, which we know where they are, but the relics could be anywhere, but still a nice thing to have, to just be able to track down those skills and important pickups, to know when you need to go for a hard trick or when you can skip something that seems not worthwhile, let's say that. As Jamal is taking the ballet teleporter, is duping his save to make sure that if he does not get the cutscene skip, he can retry it, or yeah, if anything goes wrong, he can just reload his save and not have to do weird shenanigans to get it back. And there's our first warp to the Horror Escape axis. That is actually a very nice warp and a very nice warp location, because they still need to do the escape by the end of the seed, and this is fairly close to spawn and very reachable. Only holds health regen 2, but still nice to know that there's the access to the Horror Escape. I believe it's faster than TPing over, but I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it would be. Right, at least right now it would be for sure. jmal doing some, as mentioned, zombie shenanigans here in Valley Entry. I gotta get used to bonus light here, man. I'm not thinking about what jump grade can do, and Cleanfel is showing that he very much knows what jump grade can do, because I was thinking, okay, why are you even taking the Horu escape access when you can't get the validation XP? And he's like, I got jump grades, bro. And then he goes and he checks it, so, like, good job, Cleanfel. Gonna take a couple damage hits here with that health regen, able to find a Gumon Seal shard, which I would probably keep, given that you have the Forlorn teleporter here. And only need one more shard to activate it, and there is in fact a relic in Forlorn, and could be in fact progression in Forlorn as well. So Cleanfel deciding to scum that for the time being. Not too bad a play, really, in all honesty, because I mean, if you figure, hey, that's the place that I gotta go, it's not really a big deal. You can just take the Grotto TP and then go and pick that up real quick in Altar again. So just kind of a little bit surprised that, you know, with maybe he just didn't want a zombie out, and he's been kind of spending his ability points a little bit here. He's only got 3 left, so understandable. Are we seeing a jump grade laser check from jmal? Let's go!
Also, it's probably good to mention that bonus upgrades are not expected from the logic, so even if they have that jump grade logic, it does not expect you to jump higher than you normally would. So that is something to keep in mind. Thanks for the truck for calling that out. That is, of course, very valuable information, as jmal is pushing the rock to get to that pickup. That is, of course, with that information not in logic, but could be reachable. I think he can just make it to the ledge. Is trying to get the rock even up a bit.
He wants it just tilted a little bit with the stomp, and yep, very nicely done. Gets it 4 XP, totally worth it. You better keep that, jmal.
Yeah, definitely something that he wants to keep. Is alt-Ring now, and Clean also heading to the teleporter, so both runners kind of giving a high five, still doing these one-offs that they have left here. There's just a few more that they can reach before I think the game has to give them some kind of progression. And yeah. Let's just
I'm
see.
only thinking Blackguard's left at this point. I don't think that there's much else that we haven't seen betwixt both of the runners. Taking a look at the map here real quick. Just wanna see if I can get an idea. Jump up ability cells. Yeah, I don't think so. We saw Spirit Caverns from jmal saves come just moments ago. He's doing Glide Vault right now. Cleanfel is going to be heading into Valley entry, and you know what? We could get like super rude here to kill. We could have lower BRB just contain Gumon Seal shards, and then you have to go and get that Forlorn teleporter from next to the Grotto TP, and then you got to go to Forlorn to find progression. Let's go.
That would be definitely a mean thing for both of our runners. Jmal getting his jump upgrade there. Also, random side fact from the track, 4 is the number of death in basically all Asian languages, so Jmal finding that on Glacier could be a not so good omen for him, but we will see how that turns out. He still has one map in his that he owns over Clean, who apparently either scammed one or just did not find one yet. So that could hold something. Let's see if that's something. Although we saw 100 and something experience on Mapstone 2. Oh, there's Church. Okay, there's Church Jump.
Wow.
2 out of 3. That's progression for sure.
Mapstone progression. Amazing. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, so that let's see here. They had 2 pickups that were in logic: the Blackroot grenade throw and the laser XP, in addition to the Mapstone turn-in, basically. So jmal hiding charge jump this time, not bash, hiding it on Mapstones. I don't know where he got the extra Mapstone on Cleanfel, but as you mentioned, 2 out of 3 for grenade jumps, always pog. We do hope that they find Climb for said grenade jumps, and that actually would kind of potentially be like a go mode-ish skill set for the runners here. Sorrow does have a relic. We know that. We know that Glades, what was it? Glades, Misty, and Ginzo, I think, are the ones that are relicless. And so not having glide is actually kind of a deal still for the Relic and Sorrow, potentially, right? Like their resources are kind of okay. They're sitting at 5 health and some amount of ability points. You're gonna see jmal use a save anywhere here to break his way into the grenade tree. Cleanfel also hot on the heals, and I don't believe we saw on jmal's side. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was looking away from the screen for a second, but I don't think he checked the pickups behind the lasers.
Yeah, I don't think he did so either. So we still don't know what they are. We're getting the grenade throw puzzle though, and with grenade and stomp in their possession, there's nothing hard locked in the game still for them. These two skills are what could hard lock some stuff, so at least that's a worry out of their head. But there's still some horrible. Yeah, there's a map stone. Okay.
Hey.
Maybe that was actually like, maybe Jamal got his mapstone out of logic and that was the one they were expected to get. There's the first sunstone shard for Jamal on the right. I don't think Clean has found one yet, so that is very nice to see. And I'm sure Clean will pick that up as well, as he's now ducking under those lasers, because lasers are just a suggestion in this game, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
We'll check that pick up here with the damage boost. Would have... Ah, yeah, he does not have the charge jump, of course. Gets the extra air dash for his trouble. Not quite what he was looking for, maybe. Is now looking to turn in that map stone, as he was checking what kind of maps he had turned in. As Jamal is collecting the grenade tree. Obviously not as important in the game mode we are playing, but still a pickup to get, and since he checked everything around it, why not check that one as well?
Yeah, might dip back down into lower BRB just to kind of see if there was anything else there. Looks like he is taking the Blackguard teleporter indeed. Cleanfel does have the mapstone, is going to be on his way to getting charge jump momentarily, which was on mapstone 3, and we pretty much just have at the moment, I would say, sort of advantage one, disadvantage the other, and also flip around that statement, because Cleanfel has an extra water vein shard, but jmal has the sunstone shard. And also a warp to Gilmo's Bridge for completely useless reasons as far as this seed is concerned. But Cleanfel did just sort of instinctively alter and take that. I'm going to see jmal check these pickups over here over to the right, which are a whole lot of nothing. But Cleanfel actually on a pretty good health count here compared to jmal, I'd say. It was kind of a bit of a... starting to become a bit of a big difference to consider. Another Sunstone Shard here, charge jump locked at the AC. You see Cleanfel on 8 HP and just 5 for jmal currently, and that is actually pretty significant. That's going to allow Clean to do at least one more damage boost in a lot of locations compared to jmal.
Yeah, that could definitely come into play with the Sorrow that you mentioned, with some other areas with some swims potentially. They still haven't found clean water. In all of those 3 seeds, no clean water. That's just sad to see. So let's hope for our runners that there's gonna be clean water somewhere. So far, just a bunch of high experience under the water, so nothing too useful. So clean water could be literally anywhere, but with that, Clean can check a lot of this stuff that he can do here with this amount of HP. Just a very nice thing to have, and a very nice safety thing as well, as he gets to the Stomp Tree. Maybe just force of habit, maybe he wants to check the pickups here. There's all these pickups really close to each other, so definitely not a bad play. Gets his 3rd water vein shard, so Ginsu could be coming into play. Of course, there's no relic there, but there's a fair amount of pickups that he can grab with his charge jump. As Jamal on the right is heading into lower Blackroot. Let's see how much he will check here. Of course, he can't quite do the swim with the amount of HP that he has, but he can check basically everything else, so there could be something here.
Yeah, I gotta say, I don't like this from jmal on the sheer basis of his HP count. If you come in here with 12 HP or equivalent, you're in a much better position because you can't do the underwater swim, but especially given the way that he spent his ability cells, only having 1 AP here, can't push either the purple or blue trees, has to push into the red Unless he does a backup save scum here, this is like a pretty awkward position for him to be in. Having the jump upgrades with charge jump does make this significantly easier than it would otherwise be. But he's still, I think... No, he might not have to do damage boost. No, he doesn't. Okay, the extra jump grade does push him over the top there, so he's okay for this. He is going to get information, if nothing else, to kill on the basis of where the Blackroot Relic is. But a little bit peculiar. Oh, ooh. Warp to Grenade Tree, that pickup is actually kind of a bit of a troll. Does get another health cell though, which is kind of nice, but yeah, I was going to say a bit peculiar that they did not check Dash Plant yet before making their way down here. And yeah, at this point he's relegated to either the Old Man's House or the Dirty Water Swim or Dash Plant for the Relic.
Yeah, all three of those are horrible locations in the normal playthrough. They are all three horrible locations in here. But settle in, everyone. Get your cup of tea. We're getting some lore. And there's also Tumbleweed, if you didn't know that. So yeah, lore. We get to see Grandpa. We get to see Mama. We get to see all the characters, and we get to see a nice Tumbleweed in the middle of everything. So. Yeah, that's one of the longest cutscenes in the games. Game as Cleanfel is just doing some pickups that Jamal has already checked. So for Jamal's sake, let's hope the relic is here. For our viewers' sake, let's hope it's at Lost Grove Long Swim.
Yeah, I do hope it's here for Jamal's sake. Clean is in a much better position to be able to go and find out whether or not it is the swim or not. But still a whole lot of pickups that are available to the runners in terms of where skills can be. And with that third water vein that we saw over at the Stomp Tree on Cleanfel's side, kind of looking to be like skill progression is probably in that general vicinity. By the way, I don't remember how long this cutscene takes off the top of my head. I think it's around 80 seconds, plus or minus 10, somewhere in that neighborhood. But the important thing is that jmal has joined Team Storytime, which is the most important team to be on in Ori Rando.
I mean, to be fair, this game just has incredible lore, and with speedruns you obviously never get to see it because lore takes time that you can't play the game at. But just sitting back and enjoying, I'm pretty sure Jamal enjoys this break after already doing the seed for 45 minutes and gets rewarded with a Groomon Seal shard. If nothing else, at least that one. So one more and he can actually use the teleporter that he actually didn't find yet, I believe.
No, he has not. Clean has.
So, yeah, is now checking Dash Plant, and without that, we have to settle in for a bit more of searching on Jamal's side for either clean water or more HP. We of course know that there's a lot of HP reachable with what Clean has found, but yeah, as Clean hasn't found, obviously he's remembering that he didn't do that. And it's just an energy cell, so it's Lost Grove Long Swim, I believe, no?
Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else that would be off the top of my head. I don't think we've missed anything else. No, because there was the warp there to the grenade tree that was on that ability cell. So yeah, it is indeed LGLS, one of our favorite pickups in the game. Clean is close to being able to access it with his HP count. I think maybe the health regen might actually be able to just sneak it out, but may need to grab some health off of his fish on the way to doing so. Either way, jmal at least has the information, and now that he's opened up everything else on Lost Grove, it's not like terribly long for him to be able to get back there, so it's not too bad. We got a relic count, by the way, of 3-2, so in terms of chasing our objectives, jmal is in lead. We'd definitely say Cleanfel has the shard advantage right now, has a complete water vein, 2 sunstone shards, as well as knowledge of where the Forlorn TP is. Forlorn will be required in the seed. If you're just joining us, we are not playing Forged Trees, we are playing World Tour, which means that relics are placed in 8 of the 11 biomes in random locations. So, as opposed to Forged Trees, where we know exactly where we need to go, we only have sort of like a general sense for World Tour. And in particular for this seed, we know we do not have to technically go digging for the relics in Glades, Misty, or Ginzo.
Yeah, and so far, as you can see, Clean, as he's in lower BOB, we know that the relic for Blackroot Burrows is in the Lost Grove Long Swim, so both of our owners are in for a ride for that, because neither of them actually has the ability to go there just yet. And I believe we will get some more lore on Clean's side as well. Yeah, Jamal will also now check the validation experience, which I believe was a keystone, so nothing too useful there. Gets into the lava. Lava does hurt Jamal, so unfortunately can't check it, and accidentally triggers the entrance cutscene. I didn't know that was possible. And we're getting some more lore! Grab your teas again. Enjoy the tumbleweed. More lore on the left side as Jamal is doing some more pickups here.
I'm gonna call that the tumbleweed lore room from now on. Thank you, Tuko.
Yeah, that tumbleweed is very important, and I believe it's yeah, it's a very nice decoration in there. It just fits.
And Zemsis, I'm sure, would be very happy to find that. Oh, another water vein shard for Jamal on Long Flipper is very nice. So Ginzo access almost available for him, I believe, if he has all towards the Stomp Tree question mark. I think a water vein shard was on the way there. And then has an opportunity to go to Ginzo. Also, actually, Charge Jump opens a grenade locked door that they have not checked. They did unlock the one at the Spider Sack area, but they did not actually go and check it. And also, Glades Grenade Laser is in Logic, which is just a mouthful. We call it Grenadeser. It is the pickup above the Grenades Laser as... or Grenades Laser, what am I saying? Glades Laser that we saw Jmal check in the last race earlier on this one with the jump grade. I kind of like this from Jmal, kind of being a little bit more thorough with the charge jump, coming back doing some extra checks here. Glades could entirely be Mapstone progression, has another 2 now that he can turn in. Both runners at 3 out of 9, and Jmal kind of catching up here on shards as well, just kind of missing the location of that Forlorn TP. Yeah,
and Clean has now watched the cutscene, has been enlightened as to what happened to our mama, has been made very sad, and will now head back to get his Forlorn TP. Remembers, or Goodman Seal Shard rather, to open up the Forlorn TP, so now he can go into Forlorn to grab that relic, and maybe... Oh, there's Climb on the side of Jamal! That's 3 out of 3. We are having grenade jumps right here, and that will be a very welcome choice for him, for sure. And he will also find his Goodman Seal Shard right here that we just saw on Clean's side, which is number 2. He, of course, does not have the... He does have the teleporter now, so can go there as well. A lot of XP on the side of Cleanfel, so this was not an area that the Logic expected them to go to early, and yeah, they can do basically everything here. With the Orb Mechanic, they don't need a lot of skills. They have Stomp to open up some Stomp-locked things. And Clean will first of all put in the mapstone. Oh no, he does not have any mapstones, of course. Jamal is the one with the mapstones as he's checking the plant. Plants are just impossible to break with grenades, that is a fact. So yeah, gets health leech for his trouble, so that is very nice. It's one of the bonus light pickups that basically enables them to get health whenever they damage an enemy. And there's the crystal lens of the Forlorn Ruins, so has that one, but we'll still be checking pickups for another skill. We're 52 minutes in, and there's no way they can finish the seed just yet, as Jamal picks up a Sunstained Shard.
Didn't even notice we were 52 minutes into this god-awful garbage.
I mean, we both agreed to be up for the fun, so here we are.
Yeah, we did. Why did I have to look at the clock. Oh, okay, so anyway, worth noting here. Dental Cabinet had Climb, and I do not anticipate that Cleanfel is going to be going back to that anytime soon. So this is a pretty significant movement advantage for JML being able to use grenade jumps. I believe they have the Valley Teleporter. No, they don't. They don't. I'm thinking of something else. Anyway, so yeah, this is like semi-cursed left side access for JML, although with this amount of HP, it's not that bad. You can just grenade jump your way through Valley entry. And the damage boost to do that, by the way, would be in Logic. So yeah, this is kind of like possible go mode for JML, other than just needing to find his third Water Vein Shard and Sunstone Shard. He's got access to everything, including like technically bash lock things in Horu with the bonus pickups, extra jump height and skill velocity and all that. Like, you can definitely make Horu a lot more manageable with a skill set than you would be able to with just base game stuff. So entirely possible we could see JML just kind of start to push for relics here. Sort of the World Tour equivalent of what we call Lumberjack mode, Archaeologist mode at the very least for JML.
I think since he has that health leech, the swim in lower BRB is also now possible, because he can just damage the fish and get HP back from that. So he can get the Blackroot Barrels relic as well, that he needed more health or ultra defense for. So yeah, but for now, of course, left side still isn't doable for our runners, because there's the kill plane that Jamal is skipping right now. I didn't see whether he did a backup save, but I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, there's Big Angry Burp, Big Angry and Half Cut Burp, and there's double jump on the left side for Clean. So there is something in the Ginso tree that is actually helpful. Double jump, just that bit more air mobility. With the jump grades, they can also double jump higher, and that just gives a lot of movability to them.
Yeah, that's gonna give, like you say, that comfort aspect of Ginso Teleporter activated on the battery. What is this seed, man? That is so rude. But yeah, having that extra comfort, that extra air stall with double jump and the jump grades and all that good stuff, like, this is very, very comfortable for Clean. Of course, he doesn't have grenade jumps, that's going to make him sad. Does find the Sorrow TP here in Ginso as well, which is going to make things significant. And another jump upgrade, like, this is getting real comfy on the jump front. Like, at this point, Cleanfel basically has glide with the amount of jumps that he has available to him and the extra jump grade, so I think with Forlorn done, he's got that relic out of the way, the sort of comfort skills that he has now. He's just kind of digging a little bit for an extra Sunstone Shard. It'd be interesting to see whether or not he stops here in Ginso. No, he's with the 10 keystones that he has right now, and just look at that crazy height he's getting off of those double jumps. He's gonna push for the Ginso escape just in case there's a Sunstone Shard there, I think.
Yeah, you were kind of hoping for that to happen, right? Having the Sunstone Shards in the Ginso tree, so we get to see the escape. But unfortunately, he stops at the teleporter, but at least he can get back to the escape easily if he decides to do that. As Jamal looks like he is doing some cleanup in Valley. There's of course a relic there that they need to get. We will actually see whether our runners decide to go into Misty at all, with no relic being there, no tree needed to be done. So we will see whether they have actually any incentive to go there. For now, they're just in other parts of the world, of course. Misty being on the left side and no easy left side access is not a good omen for Misty, as Clean on the left finds Energy Leech, similar to Health Leech, that just grants you more energy as you attack enemies. So, not too useful right now. If they, for example, had Charge Dash, or Dash in general, that could be useful, but for now, just nothing to them, basically.
Between both runners, with jmal having Climb and Cleanfel having the Sara TP, there is the relic there for Cleanfel, by the way, left side. That does actually put pretty much all of left side in logic, being able to climb and charge jump out of the Sara TP and then do a whole bunch of damage boost stuff. So, Clean, I'm sure, knows that, and even if he doesn't, he has charge jump and stomp and a million jumps. Another jump upgrade for jmal, by the way, here as well in Valley. And so we're even on our relics in terms of number and locations that the runners have found the relics in. So completely even. No clean water, but with, what is that, 11 HP and ultra defense for Cleanfel. He can absolutely tank Lost Grove Long Swim right now. jmal's going to be clearing out this lower valley section, doing the grenade throw to open up one door here, then lure Baneling to break the wall. And if he had another Gumon Seal shard, he would actually be able to go all the way into Forlorn. Kind of hoping for his sake that he ends up finding a Gumon Seal shard on the way there now, as Cleanfel does get the relic advantage, having found the relic there in Lost Grove Long Swim. Wind restored here for jmal, by the way, right side behind that grenade lock pickup. It just makes the map look pretty, as he doesn't have glide.
Yeah, just a really nice effect on the map for now. Now is heading into Forlorn. Can't actually get in there because he does not have a third shard, but at least can check those pickups. They could always hide one of those shards, so he could get it. There's an extra double jump, not too useful for him. We of course know that double jump is in the Ginso tree, but jmal has not been there just yet, so can't use that extra double jump with all the jump grades. Can't do anything more. There's this one energy cell, and he's looking at the map what he's missed, so yeah.
Okay, so we got 3 Sunstone shards for Cleanfel, one right there on the charge jump tree, and I just want to point out that jmal was circling Valley Long Swim, so relics in 2 Long Swim locations, it appears, in the seed, which is amazing. I don't think you could ask for more out of just a Funsies third race, really, to be honest. Especially with clean water, like, completely buried somewhere, who knows where.
Yeah. Since we are an hour into the seed, you love to see stuff like that just keeping on happening. There's another skill velocity upgrade, so if they find Bash or Dash, these will just go zoom zoom, and with this being expert, I believe at least one of them could be on the final escape, but I'm not too sure on that. Not master expert. There's too many things to the randomizer to remember, and I'm amazed at the runners being able to track everything that they need down here, as jmal is setting up for some grenade jumps. They are actually also enhanced through skill velocity upgrades, I believe, so they need to remember to turn that off before the final grenade jump, because otherwise that will soft block the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, as far as I know, standard logic can have clean, not clean water, actually maybe clean water, wind restored, and sea flame on the final escape. Expert opens up a few other things like dash and double jump, but yeah, entirely possible for stuff to be there. But yeah, so we have jmal actually in Misty, which is an interesting play here because there's no relic, and it does not need to go to the tree, so this is purely a shard dig for jmal at this point. And I gotta say, I kind of don't like this play from him on the sheer basis that there are other pickups, like even if they are one-offs, there's other pickups that are in logic and easier to get for him, rather than going through and doing this full Misty clear. The advantage of doing this, however, is the XP values. It is entirely possible that there's a shard here, like, don't get me wrong. And also, with these XP values, he's going to get a whole bunch of AP out of this, which will allow him to get sense, and will allow him to look for additional shards or skills or what have you. And again, just to reiterate something that you mentioned earlier to kill, the sense does not trigger on the relics, the actual objective of this seed. So it would just be a dungeon key / skill hot cold thing for jmal.
On the left, we see some downsides of the bonus light item pool. Cleanfel is trying to navigate those spikes, but with all those jump grades and stuff, it's actually not as easy to avoid everything because jumps just go higher than you expect, and there's 525 XP up here, so the game really doesn't expect you to be here right now as he gets some more resources. Not necessarily what he's looking right now here. We're looking for right now here. Gets a mapstone right next to the mapstone altar, an ability cell on mapstone 4 that we've already seen on Jamal, and Jamal also gets a mapstone, so there could be something on the mapstones. Of course, that is always a possibility. And there's near sketchbook on Cleanfel's side, so the relic in Sorrow fortunately isn't too horrible to find. Now is on 6 out of 8 relics, only the one in Horror and what is that? Swamp missing?
Not swamp. I think. Yeah, Cleanfel doesn't have Valley yet, which we are suspecting is Valley Longswim.
Ah, true, of course. One of the horrible locations that very beautiful locations that no runner ever hates.
Nope.
Yeah, we will see when Clean decides to go there, and afterwards we will see some horror, I believe. I don't think... Like, there is a lot of logic in horror, but I don't think they can do everything. And maybe he wants to find Bash to make it easier, and maybe Dash even to be able to do some rocket jumps up. But we will see how he decides to go about this, as Jamal is doing more cleanup off the map, still looking for some kind of progression. Only has 4 relics so far, I believe. Yeah, 4. Counting is hard, reading is hard. We're 1 hour in. This is
everything is difficult.
Yes.
Watching 2 screens is hard. Yes, Bang Frog, absolutely. Yeah, we've seen these checks on the left side of your screen from Jmal before. Absolutely abusing the 700 jumps and jump upgrades that he has to just soar pretty much up the bird stomp shaft there. We are seeing a little bit more of grotto clearing from Jmal, which I don't believe we saw Cleanfel do, including this little section here, which would be in logic to access the stomp area via this way. This is actually good for Jmal. There's a water vein shard here, I think closer to the stomp tree than this, if I recall correctly, which will put Ginzo available for him, and as a consequence, double jump and the Sorrow TP. So that'll bring him up into more parity for in terms of skills and whatnot to be able to start pushing for the relics. Cleanfel has not done any of the Forlorn approach checks, by the way, whereas Jmal has. So once Jmal decides to go looking for the Valley relic, which I'm pretty sure has to be VLS at this point, like he's going to be able to just beeline for that, beeline for the Lost Grove long swim relic there for in Blackroot. So like, yeah, sure, Cleanfel's up to relics here right now, but Jmal has knowledge of where 2 of those relics are, and just basically needs to decide when he wants to go and push for those, and then he's pretty much going to be on even footing once he goes and clears out Ginzo.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying how skill velocity also speeds up wall climb, charge jump, and grenade jumps on Jamal's side. Very fun to see. We'll get his water vein right here, or water vein charge rather, that completes his water vein. And of course we know that the Ginzo TP is on the Bash tree, so nothing that he can get, even if he wanted. Completely useless on that location because, well, you're already in the Ginzo tree. You can maybe skip the 4 keystone door that cleaned it, but other than that, there's an extra water vein shard, so definitely the play to go into Ginzo tree that we know has double jump. So yeah, Jamal will soon get all the jumps as well.
All the jumps! All of them! He's already picked up a couple extra double jumps as well, so he'll be real happy to see that, which is going to make his Sorrow traversal a lot easier. He's going to Blacker here to get the relic. Again, this is just a matter of basically when he decides to do this, but the very rarely seen actual usage of the Lost Grove teleporter as a destination teleporter as opposed to a departure teleporter. You love to see it. Things that Expert World Tour brings to you, the viewers. Does get squished by the Crusher there. We'll just wait out the cycle a little bit before going for the swim. Looks like he's got Ultra Defense now as well. So this is going to be easy peasy chicken for Breezy. For jmal, he's going to get his Relic and Altar immediately. Would not be terribly surprised given this play if he goes and picks up the Valley Relic as well. And after that, jmal basically just needs to go to Ginzo, grab the Sorrow TP and double jump, dig around for the Sorrow Relic a little bit, and then head on to Horu in the meantime, as Cleanfel is going to be completing this swim. Has the Sunstone complete, does have everything he needs to do Mount Horu. Maybe not everything he wants to be able to do Mount Horu, but everything that he needs to do Mount Horu for sure. Between all the bonus pickups and health and resources and etc. So, in all likelihood, we're going to see a Swamp TP here from Cleanfel and then head off to Horu.
Yeah, with the relic actually being on Valley Long Swim where jmal is heading as well. Yeah, and also nice to mention, talking about water, that all water vein shards have been in logic, so double jump was actually the intended progression for our Ness here. So, yeah, getting all the jumps was what the seed wanted them to do, as jmal is heading through the Valley Long Swim with the health leech as well. There's too many words. It's definitely doable. Now has the strange drawing as well, and Cleanfel is approaching the Mount Horu, the final area of the game. Is making quick work of this elemental that has annoyed several people in this tournament. So yeah, always nice to see that, as Clean is just going to check these. Look at all those jumps! Like, what even is impossible with all those jumps?
You can do anything you want with this. If you want to have some fun with the Warrior Randomizer, by the way, go ahead and give yourself like 20 extra double jumps and say 10 jump grades, and you can go from the bottom of Valley all the way to Sorrow with just that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and jmal on the right, not having all those extra jumps, has to be a bit creative to get to that pickup. Could have done a grenade jump after a few tries, decided not to go for it, as Clean is starting his search for the relic in Mount Horu, and so far has found a bit of energy regen, has found a bit of experience. Nothing worthwhile just yet. We of course know that, well, oh, there's Bash. Okay.
There you go.
Now the rest of the seed is quote unquote easy for him. Like, with the he has to be careful with all the skill velocities. As you can see, this can kind of throw you off, especially if you expect certain things to behave certain ways. Actually interesting to me that he's skipping that, because I believe there's pickups on there, so why would he? He's door warping?
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to take the traversal back, which is fine. Like, this is a totally valid way to approach this. I don't know how faster or slower. There's Glide. What is this seed, man? Everything's in Horu.
Everything's in Horu and Ginso, basically, is the story of the seed, and yeah, I love it. I love it. This is hilarious, and I'm sure our runners enjoy it as well. A bit of this weird shenanigans that is happening right here.
This
Yeah,
seed is so good.
He's just going back to the save he previously made to get to some more checks. Actually, yeah, he got the TP, just has all the TPs now. We even have the lower Blackroot one. I think the only one that we didn't get was the teleporter in the Haru approach area. But besides that, we've been everywhere, and now jmal has all the jumps.
Cleanfel accidentally saves come glide, so he's going back for it. If I was in Cleanfel's position, I probably wouldn't worry about it just because of all the jumps is basically glide anyway, but like, why not, right? You're just having a seed for fun, so go ahead. Yeah, Horror Fields, I think, is the only teleporter we didn't get, so I think we need to officially put in a request with the Rando devs for a new goal mode called Force Teleporters.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would be so fun. And Jamal on the right is also flashing his Ginzo teleporter that he just got on the bash tree. Very useful. There, the Sorrow TP will be probably very happy. Third jump upgrade, so even higher jumps, and even higher double jumps, and even higher charge jumps, and even weirder wall jumps for him. So right now, he can just, he can go through Banana Stand with no problems at all. I don't even know if he has to take any damage going through there, even without having bash, that of course we know is in Mount Haru. But that is just, what the fuck? Oh, no cursing. What the hedge? That is amazing.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for the Ginzo TP there, just because he doesn't have a third Sunstone shard, but like, whatever. It's not really a big deal at this point. Cleanfel having to do sort of vanilla strats here with this Bash Rock, because he does not have grenade jumps or dash to be able to make vertical lasers a suggestion. Turns out vertical lasers are slightly more real than horizontal lasers, and will actually kill you. You can also do things like toggle your movement bonuses if you're having trouble with your muscle memory, being able to do things we have just witnessed on jmal side briefly, as he wanted to get through the Sorrow TP area there. And this is actually kind of like tough for jmal with the movement bonuses on. And he's either deciding to be a meme lord, which is the objectively correct decision to do, and continue trying this with the movement bonuses, or he's forgotten that there's the toggle for it. And either way, it's hilarious watching this. We do see jmal circling the last Sunstone shard that he needs, which of course, with my goldfish brain, I totally remembered was on the charge jump tree. And all he's got left to do is go get the Sorrow Relic, which I believe was either the Sorrow Health Cell or Sad Frog Ability Cell. It's in one of those two. You can see Clean, he's turned on. He turned on all his movement bonuses, and you can see the list. Just absolutely stacked. Does figure out how to toggle off the movement bonuses, so now this is going to be a lot easier for him to do the double bash sequence and find yet another jump, because why not? Why not have 6 jumps?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely didn't have enough jumps until now, so definitely fair of the randomizer to give them more jumps to be able to do more weird stuff that we don't normally see. So yeah, I really like that, and I believe like jumps reset every time you bash, and every time you hit a wall, and every time you do something basically, so all the jumps here, like, just look at him go!
Made it to that lava lantern. Oh my god. This is too hilarious. I can't.
Yep.
He is going for more. Oh, you got the ramp off of that I-beam. What the heck? He almost like pseudo rocket jumped off of that I-beam. That is... This game is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so interesting what happened to see what happens when you have like more jumps or more speed on your stuff. Yeah, it's just the best in my opinion. Like this game is just hilarious whenever there's something unexpected happening. And one note actually to the randomizer is that you can see on Clean's side that every room in itself is a pickup. Like whenever you complete a room in Mount Haru, there's a pickup just to make sure that you have to go to all 8 rooms in the worst case scenario to be able to find what you're looking for. In this case, the relic in Mount Haru. So like there isn't rooms in Mount Haru that we don't see sometimes at least.
Jmal was trying charge jump up to that roof there in Zaro, and could not quite get it, even with all the jump upgrades that he had in skill velocity and etc. And that's okay, because it's going to be the objectively correct decision for him. He doesn't know it yet, but it'll be the right thing for him to do, to go down here into the lower portions of Sorrow, where he will indeed find the Sorrow Relic. And then, at that point, like, he can still... Like, he has a dark horse chance of winning this after he gets the Relic, depending on how he routes Mount Horu. Then there's the Relic there. Sad Frog Keystone. Sorry, I don't know why I called it an ability cell, but it is a Keystone. And so he's got 7 out of 8 relics, and just needs to go now to Mount Horu. Does have his Sunstone available to him as well, so we still haven't seen Clean actually find the last relic here in Horu yet, and he's kind of been clearing things from bottom to top. So the convention of the relic always being in R1, even when it's not in R1, is probably going to showcase us that it is in fact going to be in R1.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it, but in the elemental room, I kind of forgot what room that is, but he was having a bit of trouble with all the skill velocity upgrades, and his bash is trying to get rid of all these elementals, and he 3 times almost bashed into those, so that was interesting to see, because normally we just see people like destroying the first elemental over and over, because this room does not care which elementals you kill, just that you kill the right amount of them. And yeah, I was very positively surprised that he went to destroy all of them instead of the first one over and over, as he's now approaching his next room and will maybe find his relic there, maybe have to search a bit more. We will see and find out. As he's just jumping on top of everything.
Why bash your way up here when you can just jump, forehead? Oh, good stuff, good stuff. I had something I wanted to say about... Oh yeah, so that elemental room that he was in, I believe it's just faster to do it with bashes when you do have bash, rather than respawning the elemental. Like, it's still very quick to respawn the elemental because you just have to move to the left a little bit, but I don't know the exact timing on what various skill sets do what faster, so that might have just been like Clean thinking, I don't have dash to do the respawn fast enough, so I'm honestly not 100% sure on that. jmal, of course, finding his bash in Horu because everything is here, and he's going to replay the toast notification for us a few times and show his excitement for that pickup. He's going to start clearing out these lower rooms first, which is going to give Cleanfel the opportunity to eventually find the relic first, because there's only really this last cutscene pickup for Cleanfel, and then R1 for the relic location. So if it's not here, it is definitely R1, and even if it is here, it's still going to be R1.
Yeah, and yeah, it's in R1. There's just a keystone there, but with all the jump grades, the second platform was merely a suggestion to him. He just jumped right over everything, as Jamal is basically doing the same kind of clear that we saw from Clean. And we now see another cutscene on Clean's side. Yeah, more lore. Settle in, get your teas back. Hi Mama, hey Gumo. How are you doing after this 1 hours and 20 minute seed? As yeah, there's gonna be the last relic for Clean, and as he's already in Horu, he can just make his way down there. Maybe even choose violence this time, because this is not a race setting and we want to see some violence here. Asterisk, we don't actually want to see violence, we're just talking about video game violence. Don't confuse those. And we will see where
we only condone murder within the confines of the Forest of Nibel.
But there's a lot of murder going on.
Yeah, but only in the video game forest, just to emphasize that. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, sort of one of the common pathings for routing Horu is to do the lower left room first and then top right, so L4 and R1. and then kind of work your way down from there. Just because the right side has more rooms that are dense in comparison to the left. The left is basically just one-offs. But yeah, like this is totally like legitimate routing from jmal. I'm not criticizing. I want to be explicitly clear. Like I'm not criticizing jmal's pathing here at all. This still gets you quite a few checks in this room, and might see him push up to R1 here. But Cleanfel does have the last relic, and has granted your wish to kill.
Yes.
It is indeed murder.
And I'm wondering, looking at jmal's screen, if it is possible with enough skill velocity to just use bash grenades to go through lasers. That is something I want to find out, maybe, but not today.
I'm not familiar enough with bonus pickups to know whether or not that's a thing. I can't tell you that.
That would be hilarious, though, as Clean on the left is heading into his final escape, showing some love to the community, to the randomizer, to Kuro, possibly. We don't know for sure. We will ask them that after this game, because there will be an interview after this game, as it is their last game in the series, just for funsies. I don't think we will ask them the questions about the first 2 seats, because honestly, I don't remember what happened anymore.
Okay, it's one thing as a viewer to remember them. I like kind of remember the first 2 seats, but as a runner, like no way. There's no way they remembered anything about the first 2 seats. So we'll just kind of ask them about their future in the tournament itself, because of course this is an upper bracket match. Already decided Cleanfel having won it 2-0. In the seeds that mattered. You can argue that the seed mattered too for fun. But jmal not knocked out of the tournament because it is upper bracket. He will be playing in the lower bracket, and you will be finding out who his opponent is tomorrow. We'll touch on all of that as they wrap this up here. Cleanfel across the line first is going to have to hold right for about another minute and 20. This is going to be roughly a 1:25:20 finish for Cleanfel. GG taking all 3 races over his opponent, jmal. And the race is honestly closer than the scoreline might indicate.
Yeah, definitely a good show of what the randomizer is capable of. First of all, in some horrible locations that the relics were in, with the Lost Grove Long Swim and the Valley Long Swim. And with horrible, I mean lovable locations that are very much appreciated. As we see Jamal heading through the Fury Mountain of Haru, and he will get his relic eventually. Is still going through there, turns on his movement bonuses, heads all the jumps in the world. I don't think he actually needs to bash anything at this point.
He might not.
Yeah. He's still deciding to do so. Gonna turn in his Mapstone. 410 experience on Mapstone 8. That's a bunch.
That is a bunch. I wonder if Clean Water was on Clean Water, by the way.
That would be interesting to know, indeed.
If our truck has the spoiler, that would be pretty great to have at this point and see where the things were. We'll find out in a minute. It looks like jmal's going to be doing a full right side clear, by the way. He is watching this R1 cutscene right now, so he's actually going to find his last relic here in relative short order. And then he'll be on the way to finish the seed. We do have Cleanfel on deck for an interview. We will bring him into the broadcast booth. GG, my friend. You've got yourself a 3-row and an amazing showcase seed to close things out. How'd you like those relic locations, bud?
I'm just wondering where the water was. That's all I want to know.
I don't know where it was for the first race. The second race, hold on a second. I just need to do some scrolling. It's here somewhere.
We don't know it for the third race either. Our truck is checking at the moment, as Jamal on the right is now finding his last relic as well. But yeah, you didn't bless any seed today. How does that feel?
Well, I guess I knew jmal was going to hide something. And you had what was most precious to me, the water, but a lot of pursuing of ultra defense. All 3 of the seeds, honestly, was kind of what I knew I needed to do, really. especially when I got dashed in that second seed. I was like, okay, yeah, we're going blue tree C dash like all the way. So, yeah, that was pretty much my thought process through all those ultra defense seeds.
Yeah, we aren't going to ask you too many questions about the first two, because imagine remembering what happened in the first two after you're doing a best of 3 and you're playing all of them. Do want to tell you, though, the Clean Water was the Spider Sack Grenade Door in number 2. So.
In number 2, okay, I see.
And also, in this one, Dash was right Forlorn Plant.
Nice.
And also, this seed was 5 minutes and 4 seconds longer than both of your previous seeds combined.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that was quite something. Yeah, I especially when I went ahead and watched the cutscene at Lost Grove, I just said to myself, you know what? I need to know if I need to come back here, and I'll get the teleporter. Sadly, I don't have an ability point though, so we'll just we'll relax, stretch for a minute, and just chill as we watch some fun cutscenes.
Very important question in that regard. Did you know that there is a tumbleweed there?
There's a tumbleweed there?
Yes, there is.
In the background, there's a tumbleweed. And it's Old Man's Hut.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That is that like little like decoration. Oh my goodness. Dang, that's good to know.
It's very important knowledge to have. Mm-hmm. If you don't know it, do you even run Rando? Honestly.
Exactly.
jmal absolutely blasting this final escape, particularly with the extra double jumps up this left side wall. And soft locks the grenade jump, though. Even though he turned the movement bonuses off, was a little bit out of position. You're gonna end up having to do it again. Yeah, these races clean, just kind of like anecdotally, like jmal I think was within 5 minutes of you in all 3 of these races pretty much. Like even this bonus pickup seed, he's gonna finish this probably within 5 minutes of you or so. Did you kind of expect it to be this close against him, or do you sort of credit that, you know, you wanted to play a little bit more thorough to avoid getting rando? Do you think that was kind of the way that those times played out, or what?
I definitely knew that the numbers by our names just don't matter. We both had at least a month between our last races to just practice, and so I mean, just you know, massive props essentially to jmal. I mean, how well he's been able to improve practice. I've been seeing him stream like every other day, like. Yeah, I definitely knew that this was no race take lightly. I focused and made it as if this was like the finals essentially. So I definitely didn't want to make sure that you know, jmal could definitely take the upper hand, especially in I think race 2. I was being a little maybe potentially more thorough than I wanted to, because I definitely know jmal has some good routing, and with maybe the correct choices, he could have found a left side teleporter that I would have just totally missed, and that could have just cost it. But yeah, essentially, I knew this was going to be close, and I'm glad they all, even this one, I'm glad all 3 of them were as close as they've been.
Yeah, definitely. GG to you again, and as you were talking about finals, your next match will actually be the final of the upper bracket. It will be against the winner of Guard versus Xemsis. Do you have any kind of preference as who you want to face, or are you just going into that like with the same mindset here as you had here?
Yeah, it's insane to even hear those words. Like, I knew like I could definitely like imagine it happening, but yet now it is happening. So, I've got some exciting stuff, and I can't wait. I feel like either Zem or Guard are just incredibly good. Hopefully, maybe whoever I face, you know, we have a best of 13 coming up. Get locked down to lower brackets, come back up, grand finals, all that bonanza. So, yeah. Honestly, I'm so happy to be here. An amazing tournament so far, especially with, you know, the amazing community. So I'm glad to be here, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, and we
Awesome.
now also have Jamal in for a quick interview. So GG to you, Jamal.
Thank you. I really like this seed. This was everything I hoped for and more.
You
It
cursed
sure
this
was a
one.
seed.
Yep. I mean, having relics on both long swims and clean water nowhere to be found, love it. Every second.
And Bash and Horu. Let's go.
Bash. Yeah, you know, Clean commented in race time that this is the one where I was gonna hide Bash, and he was right.
Yep, you hit it very far.
way late in logic. So Jamal, not gonna ask you really about the first two seeds because I would imagine that you're not gonna remember them too clearly, but just sort of your general thoughts on your performance in this. Clean was talking about how you've kind of had like a month between races and like you've improved dramatically since the prelims, man, to be able to get to where you are now. Like I know that you may have had thoughts about like the rando kind of allowing you to advance, but make no mistake about it, like you were within 5 minutes of a very, very competent and talented runner in Cleanfel in all three of these seeds, and you should be proud of it. So just kind of want your thoughts on how the series played out for you.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too disappointed with like my performance overall. I do remember some details of the first two seeds. If you want to ask something, I might be able to say. But I think overall, like, I definitely agree with you, right? I've played this game a lot more. I've gotten a lot better since prelims. And so, like, I've definitely done a lot better than I would have expected to later on in the tournament. But at the end of the day, I still just don't have the, the motivation to really grind and practice this game like a lot of people do. So I kind of understand it's going to limit my ability to really just perform well on, really fast technical seeds. So that's kind of why I say that, I'm not expecting to do too great overall in the rando, is helping me out to get this far. Just because, I don't think I have, the edge going into a lot of things. I like to do a lot of tricks, but not necessarily do everything really, really quickly. But like with that said, I do recognize that this stuff is hard. I'm proud of how far I've come. I think I played well. I enjoyed my time today, even though it didn't work out for me today.
Yeah, dude, we're super proud of how far you've come to. Like, pats on the back for sure. You've got Evo or Dedu coming up next. Your thoughts on that race? That one's going to be happening tomorrow, by the way. Yeah, who do you want anybody in particular? If not, just sort of your general thoughts.
I mean, I don't know either of them well enough to like know their play styles or who I might be, be more likely to have an advantage against. They're both really just ridiculously good. And so, I think that whichever one I end up getting to play against is going to be, a tough matchup either way. I'm probably going to approach it either way the same way I always have of, I can play my game the best I can and just hope that, I get a seed that kind of complements that gameplay. And if I can, and if that happens, I get a bit lucky, then yeah, I think I have a chance. But yeah, so I don't really have a preference per se.
I'm rooting for you, Jamal.
Thank you.
I want to chime in real quick because we got some information where that clean water was on the last seed that you played right now. It was in the far left Gumo hideout experience.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Classic.
Yeah, and Clean, you missed Climb and Teeth Corridor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Do you have any further questions there, 2Kill?
Yeah, I actually do to Jamal. A very important question that I also already asked Clean. You went down to Blackwood Burrows. You didn't have enough HP to get to the long swim, so you decided to go to Grandpa's house. So my question is, did you know that there's a tumbleweed there?
There's a tumbleweed there?
Yes,
What?
there is a tumbleweed there.
I had absolutely no idea. This is news to me.
Yeah, I'm very glad to enlighten you. That's all I wanted to know. You can go check that out.
Where?
Awesome. It's in the background in the cutscene there. You can
Oh,
see
that's
like
glorious.
hanging over the cooking pot or whatever.
Let's go.
Yeah, awesome stuff. So thank you very much for joining us. GG again, both Cleanfel and Jamal, and good luck in your future matches. Appreciate you coming in and hopping in for the interview here.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And 2Kill, thank you very much for joining me on commentary. Appreciate you.
And thank you to Skull and Turtle for tracking, and Apple Tree on the restream. Do want to keep you abreast of the rest of the tournament schedule that we know about coming up. We have Evo versus Jadu tomorrow at 4 o'clock Eastern. That one's going to be on SpeedGaming 2. Wednesday at 12 Eastern, that is noon. We're going to have the last game in the best of 3 versus Sirius versus Tritonite, and then the entirety of the Zemsys versus Guard series will be played on Thursday, September 30th, starting at 1 o'clock Eastern. My name is Shafe. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time.